Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Fit and mentally alert. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are the way. We are the way. We are not alone. We are striving.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs,
we are the way.
If you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
It's Friday, my dudes.
Thank God it's Friday.
Friday night's gonna be alright. It's gonna be right. It's gonna be alright now,
baby.
Friday night's gonna be alright. It's gonna be right. It's gonna be alright now, baby.
Well, TGIF, ladies and gentlemen, thank God it's Friday. And it's going to be all right. Thanks for joining us right here on the Have No Sphere podcast on the Iron Rail Media YouTube channel. My name is Josh Corey, and we have got a relatively packed show tonight. I think it's just going to be the fellas and I. We'll see who else may or may not pop in. I think we'll leave that option open, but I'm going to jump right in and say hi. Let me jump in order of appearance, I'd say, Mr. John Savage. John, how has your week been thus far?
Well, my week's been all right. Hello, everyone. Glad to be back on. I've had a couple of weeks off. Nothing to do with flat earth drama or anything. It's real life drama. I suppose that is flat earth drama, isn't it? But no, I'm back. I'm recharged. I've finally had my plumbing finished and signed off, and anyone who's regular knows how much of a ball ache that's been. Looking forward to the show. Looking forward to having a decent chit chat and catching up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. We'll move on then to the Adam Meakin. Adam, I know you got to talk to us for just a brief second this morning over there in the Ironworks. So how has your week been, sir?
Well, I only got to chat to you brief in the week. So like John, I'm looking forward to a little bit of a catch up this evening. Mundane, I suppose is the word for this week. Quite nice. It was quite good actually, because I had a young lass start with us. About 5 or 6 weeks ago, as a young Muslim lass, and just before she started, she knows a really nice place for a good Islamic fried breakfast, we've decided to call it. And then Ramadan started, so we couldn't have it. So this is the first Friday we've had the full Islamic fried breakfast. Nice turkey sausages, mate, and turkey rashers of bacon. Never had them before. So there's the highlight of my week. There you go, an Islamic fried breakfast.
We're hearing you might just be a little bit on the quiet side there, Adam. For whatever that's worth.
Crank it up, baby. Is that better in chat?
I think so. Dividante. He'll let us know. He told us you were a little quiet. I see Travis told us too. Never mind. I'm catching up in chat. Looks like everybody says. So yeah, Racer
everything
FEC.
seems low to me, but
You're still low, huh? Well, that's weird.
Adam definitely is, and John was less than normal.
I shall
I
put
don't know.
myself up to full. We're at full power. And then if I'm too loud, tell me to turn down, guys.
I'll make sure. Well, because we are. I failed to mention we are live streaming right now also on our Iron Rail Media Facebook page. So if you get bored here on YouTube, feel free to head on over there. Or if you're so inclined,
Never ever go anywhere. You stay right here on YouTube forever and always. What are you thinking?
always. Well, we're also on D Live. We're live streaming on D Live as well right now. So we're trying to get the word out. We are multicasting as best as we can. Walter, how has your week been, sir? Though we got to chit chat a little bit this morning.
We did indeed. We had an amazing, I didn't even know my camera was off. We had an amazing show this morning with Joshua Michael from JM Truth TV, JM Truth Productions, Shelley Lewis's partner in crime. Felt like family. I mean, we couldn't stop going. We had to get this thing on the air in spite of technical difficulties at TFR with server upgrades. We decided to go right ahead over here, and it wound up being a multicast across at least 2 or 3 platforms. I'm not sure how many we were on this morning, but Joshua was great. You could hear the love for the project. You could hear his love for everything he's doing. A powerhouse just like Shelley. So I am super excited about this documentary that's coming up, this event, not just documentary. And shout out Travis, who's in the chat, also part of the Plain Truth documentary.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a hell of a show this morning. Had a blast. Joshua really is a hell of a nice guy. Well, let's see who rolled in here last.
Sorry.
Wait, were you going to say something there, Walt?
It was me butting in there, mate. I was just because. But you'll get to it in a bit. You'll get to it in a bit if we're going to chat about it. It was about Travis. That was one of the few bits I heard from this morning's show. I just hear like Travis is some kind of super executive producer in the background. So I'm intrigued even more. But yeah, sorry. Carry on, Josh. I apologize.
Nope. I bet you we could probably get Trav on here too. That might be something worth doing.
Yeah, I'm actually behind the scenes right now working on that.
Thank you. Never mind then.
I bet we could talk the whole show without introducing our last panelist.
I bet you last panelist would be quiet throughout the whole show too. Well, until right before he left. Then he'd say, "Fuck off, you pommy cunts," and that'd be about the end of it.
That's about all he's got in a minute if he's hungover, like he says. You all right there, fluffy lamb?
Rob, how you doing?
I'm excellent. My football team lost last night. Hey, John, let's talk about that.
Well, my hockey team remarkably good-natured, Rob. It's amazing the change from 5 seconds to now. It's great. Nice to have you back, Rob.
I think the viewers and the listeners know you're full of shit, John. So,
John, can I ask a quick question? How do you tell in his voice whether he's happy or sad? Because I often struggle.
Really? You can't tell if someone's smiling when you're listening to them?
Not with Rob.
But usually if Rob is talking, then he's pissed. So you know Rob's happy because he's not saying a fucking word.
No, he starts talking all English and very well spoken and clear, and rather than fuck it, I'm hungover and my team lost, bastards. That's how I can tell, Adam.
I'm fine. Thank you. Move on.
Well, St. Louis is in a hell of an uproar, having just won the Stanley Cup for the first time in history of the St. Louis Blues. 52 years or some shit. I don't know. I don't watch hockey. I don't care. But it's a pretty big thing around here.
Yeah, it's a rough sport, that one.
Yeah, it is. You're hard pressed to find a hockey player with a full set of teeth. They lose them like they got somebody coming and paying money for them at the middle of the night.
Excellent. I can now claim I was an ex-hockey player or something if anyone looks funny at me, wondering where my teeth are.
That's right. I'm a former hockey player. You want to find out how I lost it?
It does have a slight menace, yeah, because no one knows why you don't have a front tooth, and they may not figure out that. Well, they just don't know. So you could be a complete lunatic. It does bring some interesting reactions.
You need to be careful, Savage. I'm building a photo for here, and I've now got no front tooth missing. Ginger wig.
I've been telling you that for 3 years. So it shows how much you've been listening, eh?
What was that?
In fact, I told you when I had it out, which was about 4 years ago.
Well, there you go. Do you know what I mean?
Dozy ass. You haven't got your what is it? The E-fit of me yet.
Not fully. It's being built.
I'm hiding my Jamaican accent very well.
Well, we do have a request I see in chat. Apparently, Jimmy Brown has proved the Earth to not be flat. Dave Hinkle was wondering if we might cover that.
Well, since this is breaking news, we have to. I mean, come on. What's going on? I'm ready to hop back on the ball any day now. So
this must be June 13th, 2019, I'm seeing. But what I don't see is a timestamp. Starts around 5 minutes. Well, that's close enough. Well, let's see here. My week's been quiet. I ain't done much.
Lost.
I know, that's why I went ahead and...
Sorry, Josh. How's your week been?
Fuck off, you palmy cunt. No, it's been quiet, I suppose. Just out there throwing my resume around like it's cool. I don't know. Bittersweet. Trying to get a job, hoping no one hires me type of thing.
Any chance of going back to cooking?
I'm avoiding it at all costs. I've not reduced myself to applying for a cook's job yet, working back in the kitchen. Not as of yet. Although, ask me next week. All right.
Well, as of last week, mate, fingers crossed. But if it's another week, enjoy it. Because you'll be back at the shit again soon. Never feel guilty for the time off.
I told you, didn't I? When you do get your next job, you've just got, and you know they're just about to offer it to you. You just say, yeah, but I can't work until a week's time. My next week is completely taken up. I'm helping my sister move in San Diego or something, so that you know you've got the offer of the job and a week to just kick back, sit there, do it. I used to do that every time.
It's actually not a bad idea.
It's gives you comfort, peace of mind. You can just sit around because it's no fun. Everyone's going, yeah, but you're not working. You enjoy it. It's like, it's no fun when you don't know where the next job's coming from. When you do, and you've given them a week to get there, then you can just sit back and enjoy.
Now, if I look at this, am I going to get in trouble? We just won a copyright strike.
I was about to say with Jamie's attitude towards flat Earth, it might not be the best thing to do if we ever want to. Well, shit, really, I don't care. Fuck you. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily ready to fight another copyright strike just so quick. Well, you know what? Before we do anything, let's go ahead and say hello to Zachary Zabala.
Oh, he made it. Nice.
Good times for all if you prefer over here on YouTube. Zach, strolling in a little bit late, but that's all right. A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to. Welcome, Zach.
Doesn't mean a wizard can find the mute button.
You lost. You lost, John. You're a loser.
That was rubbish, Savage. Really, that was like junior level. Even I thought you
He's
shot.
Gone. Look. Oh, there he is.
Evening, Zach.
You got to tell me when we're playing Pregnant Pause.
Why? That's the whole point. Then I lose.
Yeah, but you were having fits the other day when I wouldn't tell you when it was started.
Yeah, but nobody fired one off that quickly as you did there. That was well premature.
We weren't live.
Oh, that's it.
I can hold for 20 minutes when we're not live.
John kicks up a notch.
His adrenaline levels going.
Right, I say no playing pregnant pause whilst we're live. How's that?
Oh, come on.
We broke. Sorry.
I'm on the air with idiot.
Put us out of our misery and speak, will you?
How's everybody doing? Sorry for being late. I'm not going to be able to stay long either. We're almost halfway done. We've been experiencing, well, it's actually been a pretty good day. Just, it's a big garden, man. It's a monster. Every time I go to do something, I realize how big it is. Wow.
Yeah, weeding is going to be a constant rotation. As soon as you get finished, you're going to have
to. We flame wet everything today. We went and burned it all at like 3,000 degrees. So it should have weeded everything down to about 6 inches down. We'll see.
Fence the garden off.
Yeah, I just want to jump in. It's fenced off. Yeah. Dogs are away.
Fence a tiny little bit off and then just concentrate on that bit. And then when you finish that bit, then you can look outside the fence and then shit yourself and then make the little fence a little bit bigger.
That's it. That's what you need to do. On top of weeding, add some construction work to it. That sounds like a great plan.
Yeah, get a sliding mitre saw. Build a wall. I've been building a wall this week. A stud wall.
Trump?
No, mine's actually been built and it's almost finished.
Oh, so you don't want to just talk about it, raise money for it, and then fuck off?
Let me see if you guys.
Sorry, Stephen.
We missed you a little bit there, Zach.
No, he's gone again.
Yeah, it's a fucking big garden.
Exactly what I thought.
Cheers. Cheers to that, Stephen. Fucking A.
Okay.
So, speaking of copyright strikes, what copyright strike did you fight and what was the outcome?
Well, like the flat earth.
This is all Adam. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Adam, you
yeah, as in, that's what you said straight away.
True.
Yeah, well.
Didn't you read your reply out to YouTube the other week?
Yeah, we read that out. I don't think there's a need to. Have we got a copy?
No,
anyone,
don't read it again.
Of
for God's sake.
YouTube's response to us. That's worth a little read. So now, while you find that, I'll fill then. So yeah, so we did a little video, didn't we, which was based on the topic that everyone bar me here is sick of. Gravity. After a long protracted waiting of Fight the Fat Girth and Sleeping Warriors debate on George Moose's definition, it came back with George Moose's own words. So we did a little satirical thing on that, and Fight the Fat Girth, being the pussy that he is, saw his arse. And because his argument was so pathetically weak, the only retort he felt he had was to issue a copyright strike against us. Which I think we took in fairly good grace, really. I think there was a ponderance of, is it even worth responding to? And then I had a chat with on Nathan's show just to see, where are we in the right? Because I'm rubbish, aren't I? Let's be honest with regards to legislation or even bothering to understand it. And I've got us in a couple of bits of trouble with it. So to know that actually what we'd done was correct, because I thought I was being, if rubbish at it, slightly satirical. We decided to defend the case, which is what we read out. And I think was it Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday? I'm not sure when we got it, Josh.
The 11th at 6:40 a.m.
Yeah.
I got the email right here. Hi, Iron Realm Media. Good news. Fight the Fat Girth has just released their copyright claim on your YouTube video. Video title is Gravity a Forced? Academia Answers. This means your copyright strike has been resolved, unless Fight the Fat Girth is still claiming other videos included in that strike. Check your account standing. Thanks, the YouTube team. So, yeah, that was them releasing the copyright. So I want to say loud and proud, everyone head on over to the Iron Roll Media YouTube channel. Download Is Gravity a Force? Academia Answers. Re-upload it to your channel and share this video far and wide and let the ballers know exactly what they think.
Well,
Gravity is not.
should I play it?
Why not?
Absolutely. If you
As
can
a
include the
response
sound,
to our copyright claim
if you can include
retraction.
the sound, absolutely.
Okay, let me see.
Why gravity operates in the universe, why there is a tendency of objects to attract one another, to orbit around one another, which is a type of, really comes from the attraction, why bodies pull themselves together into spherical shapes, for example, or discs type shapes in other systems.
Just pause it there, John. Pause it.
So
Pause
why
that
does
there.
that all
Or what, mate? Sorry. Gravity goes to a centre, doesn't it? And a vacuum as a medium they suggest. A disc type shape doesn't seem to make any sense following the rules they've just so delicately laid out. Discs.
Do you want me to back it up 10 minutes so people know what you're talking about? Because I don't think anyone was listening
He
to
just
it.
drops that line in there. I just thought it was worth a little point of note.
in other systems?
A little bit further back, I think.
So why does that all happen? Shapes in other systems.
Never mind.
So why does that all happen? Then the idea of gravity as a force in the Newtonian sense of a kind of almost undefined entity that grabs things across space. That force concept becomes a problem when you're trying to understand why gravity works. The fact that gravity does work, it's obvious from everything around us. And
pause it again, John. Pause it again.
Maybe I should put it this way: when describing the workings of
the first bit was all right, but when he got to gravity does work, where does it work? Isn't that why they had to invent dark matter and all that kind of dark energy, all that kind of nonsense? Because when they tried to apply it to anything other than if I drop this kind of mechanism, it doesn't work. So is that why he's saying it's a kind of a problem, as in it doesn't work? Is that another? But anyway, sorry.
Who are you asking?
I don't know. I've not listened to this in a while, really. It's the first time I've... Sorry.
gravity, you shouldn't use force concepts. When you describe the effects of gravity, yes, use force concepts. You're perfectly entitled to speak of gravity as a force when you're working through its implications, when you're working through why things fall, why things move in the way they do.
Okay.
It's only when you start to get into the deep questions, and those are the ones, of course, I was dealing with in that particular article. And other articles, I'm perfectly happy to describe, and I do describe gravity as a force.
Hold it. Stop it a second again, John.
Forces or strong force or things like this.
Look at him sat there, right? Fight the fat Girth in his Gryffindor. Gryffindor, are you having a laugh? He's Hufflepuff all day long, mate. Anyway, carry on.
Even though in a different, depending on context, I might not use the force terminology.
That actually answers it very well. It's again, it's the fact that you use the phrase which postulates that gravity is not a force that propagates through space-time. He focuses on the words there that gravity is not a force and kind of ignores the rest of the context. So
yeah, I think that's fair. Gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force. Maybe that's the best way of putting it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've tried to explain to him is that gravity
is not a force, but you can think of it as a force. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the best way of putting it.
Yep, that's kind of what I've tried to explain to him is that having you.
Gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force. Maybe.
Well, I'd say that clears it all up, doesn't it?
There was one last little bit.
Really?
Like the Fat Girth, he says it's a force that postulates through space-time.
Okay.
What's postulate mean?
Having you.
Gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the best way of putting it.
Yep, that's kind of what I've tried to explain to him is that having you.
Gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force. Maybe that's the best way of putting it.
Yep, that's kind of what I've tried to explain to him is that.
No.
So he's right, because if you just think of it as a force, then all the logical observation, logic and reason that you have as to why it's not a force, because it's not a force, as he says, if you just think of it as a force, all that pain goes away, doesn't it?
I don't know. It goes away if you don't listen to it either.
He's a good
It's
priest,
quite good.
mate.
Look at all my suggestions. All about building walls.
And Joshua versus Ruiz.
Right, let's stop sharing before I get myself in trouble.
Toilets in a van.
Oh God! How do
Poop.
I stop sodding?
Poop. Poop.
What's wrong with you?
That's a
What is
stupid.
wrong with you people?
That's a stupid pommy shill term. That is, isn't it? Yeah? Poop.
Poop. That's polite. That's very polite, isn't it?
You being a racist again, Rob?
No. What,
Disowning
against
your
shills?
heritage.
Can you be a racist against shills?
Disowning your heritage. You pom.
I got nothing to do with you guys.
Are you sure?
I've had to change my position on that, John, because obviously, as Brits have felt a little superior, always having a dig at the Aussies, basically telling them they were just our criminals that we got rid of. But it does appear that they're basically children that got stolen from us. Is the reality of the mud flood reality of it. So
yes,
I'm not having that reverse
some of
racism.
them.
Some of them.
It's the vast majority. I'm with you. I don't get into this nationalistic pride and bagging. I used to absolutely detest the Scottish. Sorry, Scotland, but it was propaganda, programming, and everything else. And I've learnt to realise that it's all bullshit, and it's there to divide us and conquer us, and it works wonders. And a perfect way of manifesting it is through sport. So that's my opinion of it all. So I love you, Rob, even though you call me a pommy cunt and you don't know what a pom is, clearly.
Okay.
In the spirit of that entente cordiale, I see that Australia was in the Eurovision Song Contest, Rob.
Yeah, I think the world is in that, aren't they?
No, it's Eurovision. The only two countries that aren't in Europe that are in it are Australia, and can you guess the other one? Guess what random country couldn't partake in any other regional event?
I don't know. New Zealand?
Well, what with us?
Well, you asked me to guess, so I guessed.
That was a rubbish guess, wasn't it? Name another country other than Australia. New Zealand. Tassie?
Tasmania. Tasmania. Yeah.
Liz in chat said, "You don't know you live in southern Scotland, John."
She's had that one with me. She's tried to poke me at the bear with me like that.
Doesn't know I what.
You live in southern Scotland, according to Liz.
All right, fair enough. I couldn't give 'em monkeys.
Which makes
I
her
live in my
Egyptian.
house, which is my castle, and it ain't Scotland, England, Ireland, Wales, or any other bastard's house.
Savageville.
That's right.
It's not. It's the land of Sauvage.
Just a land of Sauvage.
Sausage.
The Sauvage Fest.
We have got to start getting more guests. When we don't have a guest, we're like idiots on this
Well,
show.
I'll explain that one because my dodgy tobacco turned up, and I've got now a tobacco with a brand called Savage. Savage. I don't know how to say it. Sauvage. It could be Sauvage. I don't know. I can't look it up, and I don't. It was a complete punt, I said, and it turned out really nice. It's really good tobacco, and it's called Savage. Sauvage, sausage with a V.
So you're smoking sausage?
Only to you in Australia, mate, because you can't say Sauvage.
Sauvage.
No, Sauvage. A really good video just earlier this afternoon. Made me think of, well, just all sorts of stuff.
Minge, cunt, lady garden, meat sleeve, vagina, clunge, fanny, your gas, beef curtains, pish flaps, your vag, badly packed kebab, meat wallet, axe wound.
All the words for vagina just happen to sound a lot better with a Scottish accent coming out of a lady Scot. So it's just minutes of her sitting here with synonyms for vagina.
Glove book, tampon tunnel.
And that was the day they took them off the air.
Look,
I can't understand a word she's saying.
There's no way we'll get taken off the air with that, boys, because we're not talking about flat Earth, so we're safe.
VAG, your fuckhole.
Quick, play a pussy video. I mean, a cat video.
Anyway, shout out to Liz.
We just played a pussy video, John.
I was going to say, I think that was a sort of cat video, wasn't it?
I was talking about the fat girth video. Big fat pussy there. Chicken shit. On that, Josh, that's just the one point I wanted to make about him being a chicken shit, big fat pussy. As YouTube pointed out, they clearly felt that, yeah, we were within our rights, and he filed the strike, and then when it came to backing his claim, he shat it and ran like a big fat pussy, as far as I can see. So, proves the point, doesn't it? And probably is a best link we could have, because as he wouldn't stand up in court and back his claim, we had a fantastic announcement this week, a nice legal precedent, didn't we, Josh? With
oh yeah,
oh thank God.
Oh, we're gonna move on, are we? Excellent.
No, one more word, just one more description.
No, everyone. I've been saying in the chat. My apologies from the bottom of my heart. I apologize for juvenilia shenanigans, and yes,
do it,
so
Josh.
sorry.
Do it.
Especially you, Liz, Iron Maiden of Arts.
What's happening in chat then?
They're freaking on you, lunatics.
How many listeners, watchers have we got?
Well, it's dwindling quick, and the thumbs down are adding up fast. Look, Liz says it's going downhill. You better freaking get on the ball. Oh, look, I had to. But seriously, the court case is amazing. Let's get on that because I'm excited. Did you hear from Zen by chance? I should have asked you that before we went live, huh?
I have not heard anything back from Zen.
I saw he was in chat late last night on TFR as we were going in and having all the trouble we were having, because I was looking through the back chat trying to find out if there was something that we should know about, maybe said there, and it was definitely he was up late, so that might have something to do with it. I don't know.
You know, this is part of our battle tactics, though. Well, has been for a while, is to
get all the idiots out of here first, and then get serious. I know, but
denigrate the show to
it was getting quick,
giggling gamer nonsense, and then
the
slip in a bit of hardcore.
Right.
legal
Fart and big
precedent.
jokes and we're good, right?
Truth, absolutely. So
Absolutely.
Zen Garcia
So Zen,
was
right.
taken to court by a Mr. Thompson, if I got the name right, for a claim that Zen had put out a challenge with a $15,000 reward to anyone that could prove the Earth was a spinning ball. And some guy thought he'd won it, Mr. Thompson, and he brought Zen to a court of law. And I'm sure he thought he had a cracking case. Who the hell is going to rule against a baller in a court of law? And that's exactly what happened. So he lost his case. I presume Zen got given damages and recompense, and there it stands on the statute books, on the books, that this guy could not prove it. And I think this is going to be one case among many to come, but this was the first, and kudos to Zen for seeing it through. I'll shut
I was
up.
hoping one of you with the little more depth of the legalese and whatnot might dig into some of those documents. They're not overly complicated. I kind of glanced at them myself, but it was a lengthy piece, and I didn't really have time last night or this morning to get through the whole thing, just the gist. So did anyone peruse the fine print, if you will?
I've perused it a few times. I think I've come close to reading the whole thing, though not entirely, but it's been done in bits and pieces because it is pretty big. Yeah, I don't know. We could, one of you guys want to read it?
Nope.
Well, that'll make for an exciting show.
Right?
I'll read it in time, but not right now.
Let's just do the first paragraph then. I'll try.
Well, do the first couple of paragraphs, which is a sort of sum up of the court case and how it went, in Zen's words, I assume. That was quite interesting, but maybe not getting into the actual evidence.
Yeah, well, I saw this on Wednesday, I guess, on Facebook, and I shared it with you guys over here on Twitter just to let you know that this was popping off, just because I know you guys are into the legalese and would get a kick out of this as well. So I just copied and pasted, and it says, I am pleased to announce that on this Shavat Pentecost, the 9th of Sivan, the judge presiding over a civil court case in which I was being sued for the amount of $15,000 ruled in my favor and sided with the evidence I presented. Interestingly enough, this case was actually based upon whether one believes the Earth to be a globe or a flat plane. The judge was ruling whether the plaintiff, William Thompson, had provided ample evidence to warrant being rewarded the prize money. I had to put up to anyone who could confirm the two separate scientific experiments that the Earth was round and contained measurable curvature. My contention was that it did not, and that it could not prove through science that such was not the case. Okay. Her ruling was that he did not confirm through real-world experimentation that curvature exists, and whether one believes the Earth to be flat or a globe, one must consider the evidence which I brought forth to the court in opposition to the supposed existence of the Earth's curvature. Whew. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, you're doing well, mate.
It was a mouthful, but it was really, really pertinent mouthful, isn't it?
I think so. Because it really does say a lot. There's a lot of information jam-packed in that little bit.
I don't think it goes too far to say there isn't scientific evidence, but it certainly makes it quite clear that what this gentleman presented was not scientific evidence.
Yeah, if there's scientific evidence, he didn't have it.
Yeah. He did have a computer model, didn't he?
You know, I don't know.
I think that's what he presented was as his rebuttal, or his proof initially to Zen, wasn't it? I think so. I've not read it either, but it
that's research, fellas. That's how we do it.
I've just had loads of gossipy chats on it.
We did have a motion in the minutes from Wednesday to actually go and check that this was a court case that actually existed and took place. But I'm assuming no one actioned that.
But
But if anyone wants to look it up,
I
the
thought we
case
did that
number
Wednesday, didn't we? No, maybe I'm remembering
is
wrong.
2019-MV-1104. William Menke Thompson versus Zen Garcia. So shown on the screen right now. So if anyone wants to actually make sure this is real, and I have no doubt it is, then yeah, help yourself. We were hoping to have Zen Garcia on, but that was another action that probably got mislaid, I think.
Oh, I saw Josh
it
send
was-
the message. I
It
saw
was
him send
actioned. It just has not been.
all right.
Reactioned.
Thank you. I couldn't get there. I was like, there's got to be a word here. Thank you. Thank you.
I shall stop sharing there.
I just all I'd like I said, we've not read the detail. What I would suggest is that courts of law decide on matters of fact, and I think outside of the argument is the Earth curvature, etc., etc. I think probably the judgment that's being made there is whether or not the evidence presented by whatever Thompson was, whether or not it was scientific evidence. That would seem the appropriate judgment based on that, and applicable for it to, as we're all aware, if he stuck a computer model up there to prove the curvature of the Earth, that's not scientific evidence. So sadly,
I agree.
It would
I don't
seem
think
like he's backing Nathan Oakley.
I don't think it's anything more than the judge disagreeing with Mr. Thompson that he presented enough evidence or in a scientific manner to show the curve of the Earth. Because as far as I can tell, it's only the curve, not the spin, that Zen was after. But what it does do is for anyone citing this, say, look, here it's been to court, it couldn't be proved. Then immediately the border reaction is, yeah, but they were just showing that Matey couldn't prove it or hadn't proved it himself. There's plenty of other proof. So you say to them, well, present that proof then, and we'll go to court again and again and again and again. And let's see what your actual scientific evidence is and whether it can stand up to a court of law and the definition of evidence.
So that's probably the point I've not probably made clear, is that if the judge has ruled that a computer model is not scientific, it doesn't matter how good that computer model is. A computer model is not scientific evidence in a court of law to define the shape of the Earth. It seems quite an important, if analysed, and if that is the conjecture, that would seem quite important, that actually the court of law is actually defining scientific evidence by the correct definition. It's not allowing any presupposition in its judgment. It's based solely on whether or not the evidence presented is scientific causally to the claim made. Is it a really good story or a really good picture or a really good model?
But what it does do is open the grounds to ask NASA to prove the same in a court of law. Because if they're not going to accept computer programs and CGI and graphics and the such, then what else do they have in a court of law that proves the Earth is a spinning ball? This is where I think it could lead.
Definitely got some serious implications, for sure.
Well, if Mr. Thompson can't do it, then who's the next person to challenge the agencies that claim all of this is real? And say, well, you take up the challenge, NASA, because we need to see it. And we need to see it proved in a court of law. And if
Yeah.
you can't, why the hell are you teaching my children that we live on a spinning ball?
At some point, they're going to have to call in an expert witness.
Josh, was it on TF? When was the last? You said when's the next challenge, John? When was the challenge previous to this? Did I hear something about Rowbottom and the likes? Was the last time something this was like this?
I've seen numerous challenges like this. I've never seen.
Not challenges. I mean, actually, a court of law. When was the
Right,
last time it was in a
that's
court?
got to that point.
Yeah.
No, I think the last one it wasn't Rowbotham himself. It was two gentlemen that were contesting Rowbotham. I can't remember their names now. Grief. No one?
Nope, not me. I don't remember. If I knew
I'm busy doing some production behind the scenes. Give me a second here.
You got Travis on yet? What the hell?
No, I'm working on something a little different.
Gotcha.
I'm sure it's in the court. There's the court case between them when they take it to court with regards to the fence posts. So it'll be that court case. I'm sure. Is that not Rowbotham and the bloke he's arguing with?
It wasn't Rowbotham. It was another. It was a spectator.
Right. But it'll
And
be that
the
one.
guy ended up going to jail.
Come on, chat, help us out. Somebody must be able to help my minor Alzheimer's. Oh, it's
the tip of my tongue.
It's doing me head in. Move on.
I will say Georgia doesn't allow you to search by case number as easily as you can in Missouri. So I'm not wanting to take the time to really dig in and try to verify that just yet because we're live right now. But
why not? It's the perfect time, mate.
I wish somebody would have mentioned this earlier.
Damn. We're so prepared, you see. Anyway, moving on. Kudos to...
I was going to say, John, do you want to change the topic?
Go for it.
If we're about ready for... I felt the same. And I'd noticed that Nora's in chat. No one's flower. That's what kind of triggered me in terms of... So we go to number 7, the gravity, and the chat. And before you respond, I've always write down, I want to talk about this bit of gravity, and the little bit of chat we had this week was, when I mentioned it, was greeted by Josh with, oh. And,
yep, about right.
And I think what was interesting for me was actually that's quite interesting for me because I'm fascinated with it and I want to get to the bottom of it and I want to understand it and I have to understand it. Yeah.
Bottom or the top?
Well, that's another good question, John. But we're not allowed to go into any detail. But I do think there is a definitive up and down. But however, yeah, what I found was more interesting that, like amongst us guys, actually, there's a majority. I don't know Rob's opinion. That couldn't give a shit, and I thought that might be an hearing that might be worth hearing.
That's probably quite generalistic, a sort of way of saying it.
It would seem we're having audio issues. Sorry, John. They're still having trouble hearing you, Adam. I am, but I've been told that's me. So, but chat is having trouble hearing you.
I can see it.
I don't know what you've done on your end. Stepped on the cord, that thing hanging off the wall that's sparking and flying. I don't know, but something.
Maybe just move that mic a little closer might help. If you're still
Try
on
that headset.
I think he's on the headset.
We've gone to the headset. I'm on full volume.
I can tell now you're spitting in it.
Yeah, now I hear you spitting all over it. Well, maybe it's
if they can hear, you'll have to pull the spitting.
If Zoom is doing automatically, that could be part of it, or OBS. I don't know. Live production.
Oi, Martin, is that better?
Wow, that dude is so hot. He is now Transformers more than meets the eye.
You could be 93 million miles away. You so hot.
Somewhere in the middle, mate. What were we saying? I can't remember now.
We were talking relative densities, definitive ups and downs, gravity, and the fact that I just couldn't give a shit less about any of it.
Yeah, and
I gave 3 shits in chat earlier, so I'm lying. I did, but never mind. I'm really done with that whole thing.
And
Rob,
I
you
was,
Although there was an interesting discussion about the 90-degree angle to this electric field of all this, and that could be part of the gravity. First time I actually was interested in this whole discussion. So shout out. Damn, who was that? 'Cause I've got so sidetracked on stuff I was trying to do behind the scenes that didn't
that
work
was
out.
Zach, I'm pretty sure.
No, it was in chat just moments ago.
Oh, first time I heard that was Zach and his dad.
It was probably Zach earlier back in the day, but again, I just saw it again in chat, and it was like, oh, that's something.
Hey, whoa, can we use the
Laura
chat?
Can you what?
Can we use the chat? Can we have a 1 gravity give a fuck or a 0 gravity don't give a fuck?
No fucks given, or
Yeah.
1 fuck.
How many fucks? Oh my gosh.
Rob, you've heard this discussion, yes? You know what we're on about?
Oh, really?
That'll be a 0 then.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, Rob's been watching a lot of football, so.
Yeah, but when you kick the ball up, Rob, why does it come down?
Because of the shape of the ball. Remember that? It's a different
It's
shape.
a silly shape, your ball, isn't it?
Which shape doesn't come down, Rob?
Okay, we got a 2, we got a 0. It's coming in now, finally.
I like Owen's 2.
That's all the fucks that we're getting. 2 and 0. Oh wait, another 0 from Martin. Shout out, Martin.
It's interesting. I mean, I definitely, it's interesting. It gets the brain working, but I think we'd probably do better if we could all sit around and postulate what infinity is. We'll take our puny little human minds and we will all sit and debate and argue and name call over the nature of infinity. And the bottom line is we have a very finite brain, but we're going to try to discuss infinity anyway. To what avail? I have no idea, because the bottom line, nobody's going to change their mind at the end of the day, and we're all still going to be left with our own personal ideas of exactly what it is. So fuck it, let's just argue about infinity for the next 6 months, because why not? Or no, let's change it to gravity. Bottom line, 6 months time, it's not going to make a bit of difference. I don't necessarily believe that that's going to be one of those things we can just science our way into or out of. I don't know. What's beyond the South, right? What's beyond the ice? What's above the sun? You know, where are the stars? What are stars made of? Why is up and down? Who the fuck cares? There's more important things to do. I think we could probably focus our energy into being kinder to each other than trying to figure out infinity or gravity or any of these other unknowable concepts.
Sausage.
Kind of where I stand.
Awesome. I agree.
Did you all see Owen Benjamin's rant about Antarctica during the week?
No, but he rants a lot, doesn't he?
That was a good rant. It was a good rant, and obviously he gets a lot of views, so it was a good rant.
I have trouble with Owen Benjamin, not with him personally, but every time I download one of his shows or hangouts or whatever, it won't play on my laptop in the shed, and it's just his stuff. It's really bizarre. I've tried it numerous ways. I'm not a moron when it comes to getting what I want off the internet by hook or by crook, and the only way I can do it is to convert it to MP3 and play it on my phone. So very, very strange. But I was listening to him last night, actually. It was a nice respite away from the crazy stuff that's going on elsewhere on channels that I'm clued into. And that guy's got some serious talent. I mean, music talent, multi-functioning, multitasking talent. Unbelievable. But he does make me cringe every now and again. And that, I don't know, is probably my programming. But yeah, I've got time to do it. I've spent fucking hours trying to download his stuff, but it won't let me watch it. So I yeah, I'm happy I managed to get one in last night, and yeah, it was good. He was singing Pink Floyd and Tom Petty, and I enjoyed the singing. Anyway,
Forget Tom Petty. I've got a question from Ranty.
Thank you. I was getting to that. I'm looking at it right now.
You
Go ahead.
read.
Just
You,
highlighted it. We're all on that. Go.
somebody read it then, and I'll ask it as it's asked to me.
Adam, if the plane we live upon weighs 5,000 times more than we are told, and mass does attract mass, then no spin needed? Question mark? Just spitballing.
If my auntie had bollocks, right, she'd be my uncle. Is the reality there? That's dreamland.
If a frog
isn't
had
it?
wings, they wouldn't bump their ass when they jump.
No, and I'm telling you, Ranty, I'm going to save that quote and bring it up the next time that me, you, and Nathan are together. That's shocking. You bring that to my channel. Out of order, pal. But, yeah. I think if mass attracts mass, that's the question, isn't it? But I'm not allowed to talk about that, so that was the point. But I did notice the amount of zeros.
who says you're not allowed to talk about that?
Well, no, I said we wouldn't. At me.
Oh,
I
right.
banned myself.
Okay.
Get him, John.
Just to be safe, just to be sure.
Got like a gravity
I'm getting blamed for a lot
chastity
of
belt
shit
on.
Yeah, you know. Everyone apologises when they're reading chat. They apologise to me, and I haven't told you not to read chat. I just want to talk about not reading chat. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, we'd like to confirm that our handler has not told us not to what to talk about this evening.
Yeah, can we have an opinion on that in chat, please?
That's a 1, John is a handler, or a 0, John is not a handler.
Or a 2, John doesn't give a shit about chat. I love you all, but some of us have got to do something towards a show.
You'll get a 2 from Marwin.
I suppose. How about Rob? Rob, so gravity, density, and buoyancy. What makes up, up, and down, down? How important are these questions in your life or in your search for answers here on the flat Earth? Are these things that really press on your heart? Do they weigh you down? Are these things you think about a lot? That's you, Rob.
You can't.
I think you may have gone into too professional there when you said all that, and he thought you might be reading something, not to him. I'm not sure.
Maybe he's not here. Maybe that's his answer. Maybe that's how little he cares.
That's his shit's given.
That's right, which I can appreciate. So I think that's how about you, John? How
and
important?
Then you see 20 replies from him in chat. How about me? What?
How important is this to you in your quest for flat Earth understanding?
Define this.
The question of gravity or density and buoyancy, and up is up and down is down, and why?
Okay, I'd just like to see the experiment that proves it either way, and why it matters. Because as far as I'm concerned, down is where my feet are generally. I think it's the same. I think it's the same for everyone on the plane.
But why?
Why?
That's I'm going to be a 4-year-old because that seems to be the only way to have this conversation.
Well, I used to think, you know, obviously relative density is relevant. But I also used to think that there had to be some sort of something applying a bias that made down, down, and up, up. I think there is only up and down. I don't see things moving left and right unless manipulated to do so. But I'm wittering now. I don't care. I really don't care. I'd rather keep proving the Earth is not round or spinning than caring. I understand the importance of it and the misunderstandings and everything else that people have. I mean, a lot of globers seem to think that on the flat plane there is still a core of gravity below you. So the people on the outside of the plane would be standing diagonally perpendicular to this core, rather than everyone on the plane just standing up and upright. It just boggles me how the programming has weaseled its way into people's minds that they can't even understand the flat Earth model, or there isn't even a model. It's just the fact that we're living on a stationary plane. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, what is down below? Who the hell knows? We've only been 8 miles, 12 kilometers. Nobody knows what's below us. So how do we know that down is down because we live on a fucking plane? We have sky is up because we live on a fucking plane. We have ground is down because we live on a motherfucking plane. That's why up and down is down. Things might be different. We could have this conversation if we lived on a ball, right? Where for Rob, up is where I point to my feet. That's up for Rob. And up for me is when Rob points to his feet, if we live on a ball. If we're on a plane, maybe all there is what's below our feet. That's all there is.
There's an awful lot of ifs there, isn't there?
Damn right. Because the bottom line is we can discuss and debate all day long. This or infinity or unicorn farts. It doesn't really fucking matter.
It's philosophy.
Yeah.
It's philosophy unless there is some sort of definitive experiment or some way of showing this. Go ahead, Rob.
I think I mentioned probably about a month ago. I asked my mum how do they know what's in the middle of the earth, and she honestly thought human beings have drilled all the way through to see what's in the middle. She honestly thought that we'd drilled 3,900 mile or whatever 3,600 mile or whatever the radius is. She honestly thought that we drilled that far. That's how we knew.
But it's easy to think that if you look at a children's book that cuts the sphere into
crunchy center and the chewy nougat around it. And plus, I mean, we went to the moon. Rob, you're looking at all this on the cell phone.
How moon. So yesterday I delivered some helium to somebody, and I said, there's a shortage of this, and so be very, very sparing. You know, they do their little promotional balloons and hang them up in the shop. And she goes, "Oh, okay." I said, "Oh, my theory is NASA's using it all up." I said, "Have you seen the big weather balloons and the big satellites on it?" She goes, "Yeah, I have seen those." She goes, "Oh, I love space." She goes, "My husband and I just sit there, all the launches, we just sit there in amazement." I said, "You know, it's not all real, don't you?" She goes, "What?" I said, "You know, the moon landing's never happened, do you?" You should have seen the look on her face. She was in shock.
Rob, do you hang around like shopping malls at Christmas where Santa is and just whisper in children's ears as they go past? You know he's fake, don't you? Pull his beard.
Oh, it was funny. That is funny.
There'll
but,
be a crime in Australia soon, that, Rob.
We're down to our last couple of bottles where I work of helium, and I don't know when we get our next batch in. So,
it is outrageous.
Yeah.
I heard prices have like tripled and quadrupled because the supply for helium is so low. People are having a hard time getting it.
Yep, that's it. I think it's $400 or $500 for a G of that's a G is the size of bottle, not what you guys are thinking about. It's probably 20 or 30 kilo bottle, 40 kilo bottle, something like that.
And does this coincide with all these little mini sort of CubeSats and things and these 20,000 sat arrays that are being launched?
I would suspect between that or the ISS, there's a reason that NASA is the plane's largest consumer of helium. No one uses more helium than NASA. And that's sort of old. I'm sure other people have heard that too. I'm not repeating something new. Yeah. And that's why it's so high, because NASA's using it all. What the hell would NASA have to use all that helium for? Why are they the world's largest consumer of helium?
It's all the celebrating, Josh, when they get to land on the moon and Mars with their little go-karts and racer cars. And come on, man, you have to celebrate. You just heard Rob talking about the promotional balloons.
We have touchdown. Well, seems to be a problem, but who cares?
Is it just? Is there a bullshit answer even given? I'm not suggesting a real one, but even at least an explanation as to the level of expenditure as to why it's.
And when I worked in the mall at the arcade, we had like 15 tanks of the crap. We literally would do what you're doing for real, like get headaches talking to each other in the goofy voice when we'd be cleaning up at night. Or if we had a kids party, that was a go-to. Make the kids do it. They're all wandering around, running into the games. You know, it's fun for us. So yeah, it used to be so just everywhere, and suddenly it's all being used up. But yeah, just last month, SpaceX launched 60 satellites, I believe. So,
Yeah, you just imagine how much gas is going into one of those balloons that they put up. It'd be amazing. Amazing amount of helium they're using.
Oh, well, obviously, helium is used throughout NASA as a cryogenic agent for cooling various materials, as well as lab use. Adam, is helium the best thing to use if you're trying to cool things down?
I've often found, right, in a lab actually, that's seriously in terms of helium use, if you're going to be in a lab and, I don't know, you've got 10, 15 people in there, and you want all of them to talk to each other in a squeaky voice, you're going to need a lot of helium. Other than that, no, I've never really found a use for it. Unless, of course, it's somebody's birthday and you need a balloon inflating.
Let's see. Helium is also used as an inert purge gas for the hydrogen systems and as a pressurizing agent for ground and flight fluid systems of the space vehicles. This was as of 2014, uses for helium.
Oh, shit.
How much helium do you need to land a rocket backwards?
Well, less than when you needed to launch it. That's how you get it to land backwards.
So is the flat line open?
Nope. Can be, I reckon.
So we're simulcasting out over, what, 3 platforms at the moment?
3 platforms. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and DLive, which we're just checking out. You know what, John? You asked me if DLive allowed for uploads, and it does, as long as you can conform to this certain checklist of things and maintain this checklist and keep your 2,000 crypto coins bare minimum stocked and locked away in some sort of account. And you keep that minimum, and as long as you can maintain this checklist, then you achieve this certain rank, at which point you can then upload videos. Otherwise, it's just live streaming.
That seems like the point where I'd click the red X in the corner, I think.
Almost did. But we're like,
shout out real quick to Dave Hinkle in chat, who shared a story about the whole issue about why we're running out of helium. Shout out, Dave.
Thanks,
This
Dave.
comes, huh?
I said thanks, Dave.
This comes from, oh man, I've lost my mute button. Hang on. Am I talking? Oh, I am talking. Okay.
Have you got the answer, Walt?
Yeah, sir, go ahead.
I said, have you got the answer, Walt?
Roughly, it's just that it's a non-renewable resource. It's made on Earth by the nuclear decay of uranium and is recovered from mines. Once it's released, it is not in any way economical to recapture it, and so it will escape the Earth altogether because it is so light. So let's see. In response to the element scarcity, this is from an article. It doesn't give it yet. It's probably at the bottom. In response to the element scarcity, the United States has been stockpiling helium since the 1960s in a national helium reserve called the Bush Dome, a deep underground reservoir outside of Amarillo, Texas. By the mid-1970s, 1.2 billion cubic meters of the gas was stored there. The current reserve is approximately 0.6 billion cubic meters, roughly 4 times the current world market. But, Chan notes, in 96, the Helium Privatization Act mandated that the Department of the Interior sell off all the stockpiled helium by 2015. As a consequence, he says the United States government is selling the equivalent of 40% of the world market of helium at a below market price. This action discourages the active exploration of helium. Chan explains this comes from probing questions. Are we running out of helium? The article, apparently. What else do we see here? Helium is used as a cryogen to cool down superconducting magnets for MRI machines. This is the largest use of cryogenic helium. This is one application where another cryogen can eventually be substituted because there are several new superconductors that can produce the required magnetic field when they're cooled with high temperature cryogens like liquid hydrogen, oxygen, or neon. However, I doubt that hospitals and MRI machine manufacturers will make this move anytime soon. Helium is used as inert gas for welding. It's also used
So
getting boring now.
Well, no, I
Yeah,
just Walt's listing all the
getting
things it's used for, right? Yet, unless NASA, with its very small workforce, and its small consumption, is doing loads of all of those things in every single lab that all require shitloads of helium, why is it such a big consumer of helium? I appreciate they may use it in some of their... How many university labs are there around the world? Yet NASA's usage is disproportionate. So why? None of that explains... I understand the sparsity of helium and its limited production and its rapid escape because it can somehow, due to gas laws, accelerate past escape velocity unlike other molecules. Whatever. Shit. But why is NASA using so much of it in their labs, or are they using outside of their labs? I don't know where.
Is that right, Adam, about it being a nuclear byproduct or something? Is that the only way you can make helium?
I've heard
that, or it says once we've produced and extracted all. Wait, what?
Isn't it granite or something? I don't know. It's some
Well,
byproduct
there's 3
of...
ways they're listing here. Hydrogen fusion, which is these are all costly, ridiculously costly. Hydrogen fusion, that's one. 2 is bombarding other atoms in a accelerator. So call up our buddies over there at CERN. 3 is mining it on the moon. And that's quite ridiculous because of the volumes that are needed to be transported back to the Earth. And
no, that sounds perfectly viable to me. If you're a dastardly dickhead that wants to get billions and billions of pounds, say you're mining it on the moon and just produce it out your ass. yeah, carry on.
It's different than the problem of running out of helium is different from the problem of running out of petroleum, because that never happened in all the years we've been using it up at such an incredible rate. It's amazingly a very limited resource. Anyway, so yeah.
That would sort of point to helium not being found until recently, until they could do cold fusion, or is that right? Or has helium just always been in our atmosphere and there is a way of testing for it?
Apparently finding it in those mines is where we've been getting it, and it's a limited resource. So stop playing with your balloon, John.
Okay.
Limited resource, my arse. I'm just reading here. It's extracted from natural gas. So when they take gas up, I've just read there, 50 to 70% of the natural gas is helium.
And there's a shitload of natural gas.
That was the link.
I'm being told something completely different. Are you trying to say they're playing both sides against the middle?
Could just be making this shit up.
You science denier, you. So anyway, there's
processing of the helium found in natural gas occurs in 2 stages. The first step is extracting crude helium, which after extraction typically is composed of 50 to 70% by volume of helium from the stream of natural gas. The second
I'm
step
getting the feeling
involves-
this is something you could do in your shed, mate. If you don't smoke.
I'd need somebody with good plumbing skills to build the pipework required, John.
So if we let it all into the upper atmosphere and it collects in the dome, won't it lift the dome up and we can get the fuck out of here? I'm just saying, just skyballing.
I'm just saying, from that, the only evidence is there's shitloads of it coming from the ground, is the evidence I can see. It's not scarce, it's not rare, and it seems to have a source, which is the ground. It's a large component of natural gas.
Shocker. So it's a false scarcity, and the earth farts.
And
as
as soon
well
as
as bleeds oil.
As soon as it gets out the ground, because it's really like goes straight back up again. It's almost like there could be a helium cycle. We've heard of the carbon cycle, the oxygen cycle, all those, water cycle. Could be a helium cycle, mate.
I'm just wondering what would happen if you walked over like a geyser of helium coming up, whether you'd sink really fast or whether you'd rise up with it. I don't know.
If you had a monoatomic hydrogen balloon, you could rise in it.
There's a lot of ifs in this as well, isn't there? If you walk over a helium geyser, do you fly up in the air due to the friction and of the exiting gas, or do you sink down the geyser because helium's so much lighter than you, making you so much heavier in it? Very strange.
It would depend on the molecule speed and whether or not it was a Cockney geyser.
And C, do you give a fuck? No.
In chat, put a 1. No, I'm just kidding.
How did we ramble onto that? Anyway, that was...
Let's ramble onto something anyway, because we've done this to death.
I've got a ramble that I only had a little answer for, and I think you should. John's been invited to the Romanian Flat Earth Conference. We don't know whether it's genuine or somebody's trying to kidnap him.
What? That's awesome.
You know, did you weren't here, what were you? Go on, John.
I did. I got an email. I got a one-line email from someone who started, "Hey, Savage, can you come to my conference in Romania? We'd really like to have you there." It was a nice email enough, but...
Did he say anything about being a prince? I'm just worried about you, John.
Prince, no.
He asked his blood
checks
type.
to cash or anything.
No bank accounts. Okay, cool. It's getting
nothing like that.
Getting better.
Didn't want to see you in a raspberry beret.
Or a ginger wig.
It'd be easy to get Romania to come to you, I think.
That's not a bad reply, actually, Rob. I think I'll reply to that, because I haven't replied as yet. I was trying to put the feelers out to see if anyone knew anything about a Romanian Flat Earth Conference. Well, I don't know.
What kind of raspberry beret?
I don't know.
The kind you find in a secondhand store.
Thank you, Walter.
Yes.
Sorry.
Just a guess. For you completionists out there.
It's just hanging in my head. I'm sorry.
I was just sitting here at a city bus stop. What the fuck do I do?
What if it's warm, though, Adam? If it's warm, what happens? I don't know then. I don't
You've got the note. You can hit the notes. Well, that's all I'm saying.
What you put on when you're out in the purple rain.
I so love these private jokes where it's so private that neither me, Rob, or anyone in chat knows what the hell we're talking about. Well, maybe chat.
Yeah, but the people who do get it, the people who do get it, those are the coolest ones.
Right. Wheat from the chaff, John. Wheat from the chaff.
I'm going going to start cracking my private jokes with me and my dog soon. And we'll just sit here and giggle at you and just go, yeah, you don't know. You
We
don't know.
got some guy trying to censor Zen Garcia, telling him that he can prove the shape of the earth and to give $15,000. We got people trying to censor our channel because they don't like the fact that we use their stuff under fair use. And then we have people self-censoring, which I think is a bit stupid. And
I think self-censoring should be encouraged, Josh.
Really? I think just
I'm self-censoring right now, mate.
Why? No, I mean, self-censorship is good to a point. But you have to be able to still engage in the conversation. Censor maybe the way you present information. Censor, think carefully about the words you choose and censor yourself that way. But I don't think the answer is to turn around and walk away from the conversation. And it breaks my heart that people are out here walking away from the conversation or thinking about walking away from the conversation for no other reason than people want to be dicks. That's it. And it's not like ball earthers who, in my experience, can be pretty dickish because they stand on the opposite side. So you're arguing the opposite side of what they believe. So they're taking that as a personal affront to them and their ego and the money that they've spent on their knowledge and education. So you can expect them to be a little bit dickish. I was probably a little bit dickish when I first heard of flat earth because that's fucking stupid. So I can allow a bit of dickishness from ball earthers when they are attacking a flat earther, right? It's to be expected almost. You have to have that patience and to see it's just the way it is. But when being a dickhead is so ingrained that you have to start finding people with whom you agree to be a dickhead to, maybe it's time you take that conversation somewhere else and let the big boys have grown-up talk. If all you want to do is be a dick and belittle people and talk about irrelevant things to the conversation at hand, then you need not be a part of that conversation. You're just trying to derail it. So I guess in that point, I would thoroughly encourage self-censorship for the people to just shut the fuck up if they're not going to talk about the conversation at hand. If they're going to talk about personalities and not the subject at hand. If they're going to talk about sexualities and not the subject at hand. Then there's no point in you even participating in the conversation. Maybe you don't like what that person has to say. Maybe you don't like their flavor of flat earth. That's when you choose from the other 100 million flat earthers out there making video content from which to choose. It's not like that's the only person you have. And since there's no one else to direct your energy and your anger and your angst, so you just got to direct it towards this one person making videos. No. You don't like what they say? Turn them off and go find somebody you do like. There's no sense in investing all this time and energy talking about studying videos, researching, and just hounding people that you don't like. If you don't like them, you leave them alone. Spend that energy encouraging and lifting up the people you do like. That's all I have to say, I think.
Dickishness.
Dickishness.
I don't have the frickin' sound bite, so you get an actual applaud on that one, my friend.
Well said, Josh.
That's going in the dictionary. Nice. No, I completely agree. If you haven't got anything nice to say, then just think about what you're saying first. And yep.
I think you could go out there and you could troll YouTube and the internet, and you could, if you were a lawyer, put a perfectly plausible case for many of these kinds of arguments for both sides, but none of them would have any relevance to the shape of the Earth.
Plus, offering an opinion on something you don't have the facts for is pointless. You might as well just talk about unicorns and fairy farts.
Exactly.
I think in a lot of these things, that argument is very relevant for the individuals involved in the argument. Those that feel the need to use an argument to attack somebody in a very cowardly manner, outside of any particular argument, but any individuals that behave in that kind of way, where they see a weak individual and kind of jump on it as a method of attack, I think that speaks volumes about you as an individual.
It's as though we're speaking to people, but I'm glad I don't know who you're actually speaking to.
I think it's a multi-directed.
It's about Donald Trump, innit? We're talking about the way people are on about Donald Trump and on his back all the time.
Orange man bad.
Orange man good, you say? Or Orange man may be good, he may be bad. Who knows, because I don't know Orange man.
Brilliant. All right, moving on. We covered that.
Moving on. So that's censorship. On to some more censorship.
Oh, censorship. Yeah.
You had one too, didn't you, John? That's where I was at.
I did. You posted something. You posted my is Einstein a shitbag
Oh yeah, no
blog post to someone, and they came back and said almost every single video in that article that I painstakingly cut and pasted wasn't there anymore. And I clicked on it, and sure enough, yeah, 3 out of 4 of the videos that I had linked to in the article that still comes up at the top of every search engine. If you put in Einstein shitbag, you'll still get to my blog. But yeah, half the content's not there. So I thought, okay, I'll try and find it, because here's a tip for bloggers. If you are going to link to videos in your blog, then cut and paste the title of the video into the text of the blog, and then embed the video as well, so that you at least have the title. Otherwise, in months and months to come, you'll just come back to a grey screen and you'll have no title. You won't know what was there and what wasn't there. But at least on one of them, I had the title that I'd cut and pasted in above it. And I think it was something like Einstein and the gravity myth, or it was, thinking about it, quite relevant. But I managed to get it in the Wayback Machine, which was off and on, and it was coming through as a JW player format, which was all new to me. And so I had to go away. Anyway, for about 2.5 hours, it took me to try and finally get a copy of the one link at the bottom of the Einstein's a shitbag, or was Einstein a shitbag blog. So that one link's been restored. But yeah, there's a tip for people. If you're going to link to something, get a copy of it locally and call it the same name as you've given it the title in your blog or whatever, so that if this happens, and so 3 out of 4 of the YouTube video links in that document had been scrubbed, and you couldn't even look up what they were called. It's just censorship. Yeah,
in the truest sense of the word. I mean, Crow was tweeting earlier this week about how when you do a Google search for just lunar waves, you get a shitload, and if you put his name and lunar waves, it drops it by hundreds of thousands of returns. Truly, and I tested it, and it's true. The censorship. I mean, if this isn't a wake up, like, oh shit, there's stuff I need to save on a hard drive and get it away from the internet. It is disappearing at a fucking ridiculous rate. Like this, John stuff gone. No way to get, no way to find those videos. They're gone. Whoever the person that made the content may or may not go to the effort of putting it back up. I mean, this is only going to happen to us here at Iron Realm so many times, and we're going to go bye-bye. So, their plan is working. They're definitely getting rid of Flat Earth on YouTube, but we talked about it, about making this a mass exodus. If we can find a freaking place to land, I think it's a brilliant idea.
Well, Crow was talking about that as well, wasn't he? He was talking about, or was it Jaren? I know Crow and Jaren were talking together, Crow and Jason Lindgren this week. And I believe he gave us a decent shout out at the beginning, someone was saying earlier. But they were talking about this and maybe approaching larger channels and preempting them and walking away from YouTube. Because if YouTube kills Iron Realm Media, then Iron Realm Media has not died. It's just died on YouTube. We will still be out there. We'll still be putting stuff out there. You just got to come and find us, and it might take a little onion or something, or a special password or hashtag to actually find where we are. But we're not going anywhere. YouTube can go screw themselves. We're simulcasting out of 3 places tonight and being recorded. That's going to go up on my BitChute. So yeah, screw you, YouTube.
That's right.
There was you kind of mentioned there, guys. There was something awesome, just totally mind-blowing. I've just posted it in chat, guys. If one of you can pull it up, it's from Sandra P900 1000 Coolpix.
Is that the drone?
It's the shots of the moon, guys. I had to go and put it on the big TV and make my wife watch it midway. It is just wicked. If one of you can pull it up, it's a few minutes long and it's just worth just.
I got it.
View transfer, and then I'll mute up and just let it play because it's just wicked.
But yeah, if YouTube think that killing us or killing the IRM channel or my channel or anyone else's channel is going to somehow stop 5 or 6 of us getting together a couple of times a week and chatting, then they've got another thing coming, basically. Over to you, mate. Is there sound with this, Adam?
I mean, there's sound.
So this is the moon.
Yep.
Through what? Through a camera?
Through IR? What is this?
Tell us what we're watching, mate.
Alright. Sort of filters of time, obviously the exact nature. I wouldn't want to speculate, but it's just the detail, and I was just absolutely blown away. I just thought it was awesome first, and then as you see with the zoom-ins, it's just the ponderance you can have on those, and there, you know.
I know you don't know what it is, but what's it claimed to be? This is the P900?
I think this is taken with the P1000.
And a lens, a IR filter or something?
Yeah, filters of whatever look, as you can see.
That's amazing.
Well, the moon's green, mate. You know, I'm not. Don't want to quote science, but
no, I see why you're.
I don't know what exact specifics. I assume, but the point is, it's bringing out the level of detail. It's bringing out is amazing.
Wow. Yeah, unbelievable. Did you say they're in chat?
I don't know if Sandra's in.
Sandra was earlier. I'm not sure.
I saw her say hi.
Yeah, I'm looking at the video now, so I'm not at chat. My apologies.
I could pull it up. Maybe. Probably not with my screen share.
And it's... Well, maybe you can help me. The thing that struck me when I watched it the second time was on the big screen was the level of detail that you see. But then you've gone in another level. but the level of lack of further detail. If you kind of
that's
zoom
what I'm
in on
trying
the
to wrap my
Earth,
head around right now, Adam, is the dichotomy of the detail and lack. That's I couldn't think of what I'm seeing that's messing with my head, but that's exactly it. It's like there should be more going on here with what I'm seeing.
Yeah. We've gone in another level, haven't we, to the moon? And if you do that on the Earth with the supposed, balloon images, then you get more. But all you seem to get is more smoothness. There's not. It's very odd. I don't know. It doesn't. It's amazing.
We need to get
Eyeball.
Sam out here for sure.
We need Cami as well. Whatever filters on that, I want to know is why it's a green, because that's what's really
Be an inversion, like a post inversion filter with the white sky behind it. I'm guessing, but hey, we could ask the source and get her on here if we'd like to, if she has time.
Although I didn't see her. Fucking autoplay.
Yeah, second screen view. I can't get back to chat. Give me a second.
Jeez. Anyone hear me?
Yep.
I hear
you. Hear you now.
I died. Did everyone else die or just me?
Nope.
That was
No,
you.
it just you.
Jolly good. Thank you, Vodafone. You are a bag of shit.
Yeah, so nothing to. I just thought it was quite amazing. It's really like if you can stick it on a big screen, it's just
so no filter. She did not use a filter. This is in-camera software. She says there was a comment on there from Chris H. Lookup. Kaboom! Mind blowing. Was it through a filter? And she says, Chris H. Lookup. No, not a filter. On the camera in software.
So how come everyone can't get that sort of resolution with their P900s? Is there something funky she's doing?
It looked like what she may have done was in the post-production, enlarge the video itself.
Okay, I've got you. And apply filters maybe, or?
Well, what that is, that's all done in camera. So the way the moon looks is because of what the camera has done to the image. Those are, I guess, in-camera filters, sort of digital filters applied by the camera.
But then wouldn't everyone with a P900 be able to recreate that?
Can they not?
I don't know. That's the first one I've seen.
Well, I think that's what she's doing, is playing around, messing with the settings, seeing what happens when she does X, Y, and Z.
Sorry, Adam?
I was. My question, if she was there, was I was curious as to why the background was white. But that makes sense then. She's probably gone for like some ultra exposure. And if that's the case, then she's letting in as much light as possible. Hence, the background is totally saturated in white. Is the green colour natural just from the camera's absorption, or is there anything she's done enhancement-wise that's changed the coloration of the moon? Because that's it's pretty green.
Can we put an example back up on screen? I'm still recovering from a bloody internet fart.
You see red blue moons, don't you, and blue moons? It's easy, it's easy to see them. And I'm going to sound like Kermit. It's not easy being green. Do you know what I mean? Where does that?
And there goes our next copyright strike.
Who's playing that? Why can't I?
That's me. I imagine that she's done that in post. I don't know that the P1000 zooms in that much. I think she just took the footage and has zoomed in on it with her video editing software.
Is she in chat? Did you say?
She was, but
She was.
apparently
I don't
not
see
at
her
the
now.
moment.
You
We've
can
all
you
kind
can
of
do
sent
that, Josh, with your
stuff her
900. In terms of frame size, you lose image quality, obviously, but I think that's just maybe not that much. That's quite cool.
And is this a new thing? Has anyone else seen anything like this?
No, I've not seen anything like this.
No.
The only person I've ever seen that gets insanely crazy close-up footage that's even close to similar to that is that Leonard Walston channel. And there's a third name I just realized too. I'll find it. 1 second.
I mean, there's serious depth in this, isn't there?
Yeah, but doesn't it make it feel smaller to you? It doesn't feel like a ball as described the size it is. It's the lack of detail.
It's never ever felt like a ball the size they describe it or the distance they describe it to me. It's never felt that way. If I can sit here and see craters on the moon from where I'm standing, then it's not that far away.
You see, with that contrast, though, they're like stains, aren't they? They're not like...
Well,
do you know what I mean? It's like a staining. It's almost like a colour dye, or...
It's like a cell, like a microscope zooming into a cell or something. It's so difficult.
1 second, guys. Shout out to Bobo. Thanks for that. I did get it and went and got the channel and put it in chat. Even as I got back, John said, John Leonard Walson is the channel that we're both talking about that does the amazing up close moon footage.
Excellent.
And in a way that I haven't seen reproduced.
Well, is it similar to this? I'm not familiar with that channel.
No,
I'm sure I am if I'd
I'll
seen
throw
it.
it at you here in chat. 1 second.
I mean, I just want to know what's been done to this from the original. That's...
All right, I dropped the link to the John Leonard Walson channel here in this chat. I'll put it in Twitter for you, John.
No, just play it. Whoever's just been playing the Green Moon, can we just bring up that? Is that you, Josh?
Yep. In the process.
I just want to compare the two and see if they're sort of semi-similar. Fantastic footage, whatever it is.
So here's one from 1 day ago. Hope we don't get struck for this. Well, you got a buffer.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Josh.
Only
I'm assuming this guy hasn't got a P1000. That looks telescopic.
Yeah, it's definitely got some kind of telescopic feel to it. I'm like that. I feel that way too, John, watching it. And it seems like some kind of thing he does. Like I said, I've been watching his stuff for years, and it's been this clear since before the P1000 was out. And how he's doing it, he may have said in some early videos. I've yet to figure it out.
Wow. I've not seen that before. That's hugely
And he catches
interesting.
other things. He's caught some interesting, straight edge things and building looking things. And
Do you see what I mean, though? There, Walt. Even there, look.
Yeah, that the
There's
level
a
of
lack
yeah.
of detail past the
Yeah.
fact that you could just be zooming in on a, I don't know, model.
On a model. You know that model they had, that
Shows
sort
it up
of
there.
30-foot
Right, that he's
diameter
building on the
model.
ladder while he's working on the detail. Yeah, that one.
And they've got the railway tracks
Track.
running around the
Yeah,
outside.
absolutely.
That's what that looks like, is
That's
zooming
what they
in
did. When they
on
got through
that.
with it, they filled it with helium. We figured it out.
But that sounds, as though I'm doubting it. But
the UFO footage that John also has up there.
No, I'm not doubting the imagery, John. I'm saying the better the quality, it doesn't render. Look. Do you see what I mean? It's just weird.
yeah, it's always struck me as weird. Those look more like mushrooms than.
Yeah, his channel is like, I used to see it sometimes back on Space, Taking Back Space, but I see it a lot more on Leonard's channel, where that inversion thing happens, and suddenly, and I'm sure it's just a visual illusion, but suddenly all the craters become domes. It's really crazy, and it does happen a lot with his videos. That's why I think it has to be something to do with the light angle illusion that our eyes do. Like looking at the cube thing, where it's a cube and then it's an inside cube and it's an outside cube, and you're looking in it and you're looking at it, that thing. So,
Well, I'll tell you, I'd love to know if other people with P900s, P1000s can get the same sort of images as, I've forgotten who it was again that put that video in there. Remind me, someone. The one we were just looking at.
Sandra, 100 cool pics.
That's it, P900 cool pics. Yeah, I'd love to know if she could say how she did it, and then see other people getting this sort of clarity and this sort of depth of field of depth. It's just, wow, amazing. Love it.
It's good, isn't it? So. That was a complete sideways, by the way. I'm sorry about that, but it was just a wicked vid worth playing, weren't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But let's not let it fizzle. Let's move on to the next subject.
What you got then, John? What you got for a savage? Come on.
Plumbing.
Plumbing, love it.
Solar, plumbing. Don't know. You're the one who took notes.
Right, quick one then.
You're the minute man.
Right, so it's only a little bit. I need Walt to help me out with info again. But I heard on the Ironworks you guys talking about, and I know he's been on a couple of times, Horry Sheet doing a kind of a flat Earth guide. But that's all I kind of heard. I don't know if it's
it's Flat Earth TV Guide. He was having some issues with it when he came on the show. He was working on kind of an update to it, and then I tuned in a few nights ago when he actually had Joshua Michael on, and he was in an interesting mood, saying he was kind of done with Flat Earth for a little while, and I'm sure it's a lot to do with his quest for monetization with the talents that he throws around just crazily on his show. So he's talking about more branching out into multiple topics, not just flat centric, if you will. So don't know the current status on the channel's guide, the Flat Earth TV Guide. Let me go see what I can find out for you. But what is this getting to? There must be a reason you're asking.
No. It was literally that. It was kind of the thought that there's like a TV guide for flat earthers, because like many of us, like TV is something long dead, other than putting it on for a bit of football, or something, a movie. Well, you know what I mean? It's not something actually I engage with. Hence the novelty of putting Sandra's YouTube thing on the TV. Come on, I'll set the TV up, and because I really want to see the quality of this, and it is worth doing. Honestly, it's wicked.
It's like getting the projector out, isn't it? But hold on, Walt, you need to clarify. It sounded to me, and probably only to me, there that Horace Sheet was threatening to do a runner and walk away from it. That's wrong, no?
He's got no Flat Earth TV guide up, no new one for the last month.
No, but he does a hell of a lot of other stuff. He's not talking about walking away from.
I don't think he's going anywhere. It's just going to be less flat centric. He's going to expand topics, trying to get more of a viewership. I mean, he was already making lots of changes to the basic structure as he's progressing, trying to get a more, again, trying to make a living with, I mean, this is what he was doing, I guess, as a living, this video type production. And like I said, he definitely brings it to a different level.
Well, the thing is, once
he discussed on the show before, so I'm sure it's all tied to that, and the fact that right now YouTube is fucking us in Flat Earth left and right, so it's really hard to make any money.
Is it not just a response that is, and I'm not decrying what he's done, but is it literally a response to that, actually, that some of us out there actually do earn their living from YouTube, and what he needs to do is not be labelled as a Flat Earth channel, but as
that's
divesting the topics he's doing so that he can't be labelled, actually. It's a bit like saying, don't be labelled as a Jew sympathiser, isn't it, really? Because if you were labelled as a Jew sympathiser...
Wedge.
Wedge sympathiser, then, you know what I mean? It's that kind of concept, isn't it? And unfortunately, look, we're all talking about should we get militant and leave? That serves no purpose. The reality is, it's not in that paradigm what we're talking about, but it is all about mitigating against YouTube's behaviour. And if that means he has to phone people up and, I don't know, what's he going to do? Ball smack them?
I don't know. You glossed over, should we all leave YouTube militant?
Yeah, well, that's
no good.
Well, no, it doesn't.
I disagree completely. I think if 500 of us with 500,000 viewers all left YouTube and said, screw you, I think that would have massive implications.
Yep.
If there was somewhere to go that was feasible, and I think the way that could be developed is what's happening now, a little bit like what we're doing, starting to diversify the formats. And actually, if one of them takes off, then maybe there is an opportunity. But at the moment, any action would be pointlessly futile. It would just be a statement from the individual. But if we all start to
me, Adam,
duplicate our work,
I see it as build it and they will come.
Exactly.
I see it as if let's say, for example, a YouTuber that I listened to and didn't want to do without, if they decided to leave YouTube, then I would find them. And this is what I do with a lot of my podcasts, is I find them because they're not coming through on podcast catchers, or they're not in a centralized, censored area. So if someone disappeared off YouTube, then I would, and they were good, and I was interested in hearing them every week, I would miss them and I would go and find them. And I think it's a case of build it and they will come.
Well, that's what we've done with our whole history here, is do what we wanted to, the way we wanted to do it, build it, and they came. And we appreciate everybody that is here every week, and the shout outs we get and the love we feel, and you guys just don't know. For sure, it makes all this worthwhile. Interesting note, Racer FE in chat said, apparently Horace said he's not doing the FE guide anymore and put the code out there for somebody to take over if they want to. I don't know how recently he said that. Wasn't he on our show like
last week?
Yeah, talking about just updating it. And
I thought so.
trying to add some layers to it. So maybe that has changed. Again, Hori's had some ups and downs with this like the rest of us, and I've heard a few different changes come through that haven't actually settled and have become different things. On another note, Musicians for Truth in chat says, if you want to make money here on WedgeTube, you have to talk about shit like Pokemon and makeup. Now, I don't wear much makeup, you know, as you see, it's pretty clean here, but I can show you some Pokemon real quick. I've got a nice little...
What you got, Walt?
Let me get my shinies out here. So, all right, so here we go. I've got do we see my shiny collection? All right, so these are all my shinies.
Look at them.
Oh, how do I get them out? Okay, so here they are.
Snatch.
Shinies. Now, these are not regular Pokemon. These are the special shiny Pokemon. Oh, let me get in the center here. Okay, so, yeah, these are shinies.
Right, so Walt, before you have to justify your Japanese witchcraft, right? So we point out that that's actually a testament to your rehabilitation and effort of walking and moving and really trying
to... That's all health related Pokies. That's not anything to do with obsession or issues or like
Japanese witchcraft.
Possession. None of that, right? No Japanese demons in my soul.
What if tell me, is the chat going mental about you talking about Pokemon or a little thing? No? Okay.
It's just me teasing Walt.
Musicians for Truth just said the views jumped to 3,000. Score.
About 600 new subs just with that one Pokemon flash.
Wait, we're gonna have Pokemon Corner every week now.
Play the cat video and we can cut this and
right. Who's got a cat
off for our island? Pussy, come on, we need Pussy.
So what we did?
And we come full circle.
Yeah, we'll get a strike again, John.
What if we planned a day? What if we just figured out and we contacted as many other YouTube channels that were considering making an exodus, and we all just picked a day and stopped using YouTube? Whether we went to DLive to live stream and BitChute to hold the videos, but we just found anything other than YouTube.
Hashtag YouTube Exodus.
There you go.
4th of July, then, you've.
Hashtag preempt YouTube.
Parody. This is all a joke, YouTube. This is all a joke. We're not going anywhere. Right? We love you.
Yeah, fuck you, YouTube. Take it on. Take it up the ass.
That's it.
Right off.
Go on, Walt. Stroke the shaft. Cup the balls. Go on.
It, baby. That's it. You got to cup the friggin' ball.
I think that's a great idea, Josh. I think we should start a campaign of large sub channels, and we can include ourselves in there because we started it with our 60 subs or whatever we've got at the moment. And yeah, enough's enough. Let's stop waiting for this sword of Damocles to fall on us. Let's tell YouTube and give them a firm fisting and tell them to go away. We're not interested in their thing. We will move to somewhere which is shit, which is YouTube, 20 years ago. Because YouTube 20 years ago is actually way better than YouTube is now, because YouTube's been getting progressively shitter and shitter over the years, less and less coverage and less usability, that it won't take long. It's a free market. The internet is a free market, whether you like it or not. You don't have to Google anything. You can go to another search engine. You can actually remember URLs if you're old school. You don't, and you can write down IP addresses if you're even more old school. But John, you don't have to use YouTube. You don't have to use Google. You don't have to use any of them.
It's not so much the cupaholics for me, John. It's not the fond memories of how it used to be. I've got no problem with stuff slightly changing, but what's happened recently is that we're not just, it's not an open forum anymore. What's certain topics are banned, certain topics are downgraded from some arbitrary reason. You know, that these are things that are just not acceptable and are wholly Orwellian in their concept. And it's that point for me that is the reason, not so much, you know, oh, back in my day, lad, it were like, you know, it's actually, this isn't fond memories changing. This is actually a real significant change and an attack on free speech. And
yeah, and I agree. I think that if channels with 500,000 subs turned around one day and said, this time next week, we're going to carry on live streaming to YouTube, but we may not be here for any longer. If you really want to stay with us, then click this link and we will be here. I think if enough channels with 500,000 subs or 250,000 or whatever, I mean, something, if Jaren with 185,000 subs turned around and said, sorry guys, I'm not doing YouTube anymore, but here's where you can find me, then guess what? That platform is going to get 100,000 new people signing up to it just to listen to Jaren. The other 80,000, you know, weren't really listening anyway, and who cares about them?
That's what Josh was saying, wasn't it? Because it's all right, individual action affects nothing, but if you can get community action, then actually there's a point. And I'll go back to what I said. It's all right saying that, and John Savage could be on this media, and I could be here, and Iron Realm there, etc. But until there's somewhere that's actually able for us to sensibly migrate to, and we've looked at loads of different things. There's that froggy little there's a million ones that are popping up, but I think,
but that's kicking the can down the road, Adam. The thing is, we need to just jump on these platforms, multiple platforms, like we're doing tonight. We're streaming out over 3 different things, and it's being recorded, and that's going to go on YouTube and get mirrored over to BitChute. It's redundancy. This is the whole sort of ethos of IT management, is having redundancy. So yeah, you put it out over YouTube, but you make sure that YouTube isn't the only place that gets it. You make sure that it goes out. Yeah, it's a ball ache for now, until some intelligent computer engineer comes up with an app that says that you can put it out to one place and it'll automatically go out to 10, 15, 20 other places that you just list. You just tick them off. You say, yeah, it goes to DStream, it goes to BitChute, this, that, and the other.
I've had an idea, John.
Mm-hmm.
WedgeTube.
Let's get, I've had a better idea. Let's get David Weiss on board with this and make that app where you can just put something out. Let's just say it goes straight from OBS to a central server or something.
Oh, Restream, John. Restream.io. Restream.
There you go. Tell us all about it, mate.
Well, Restream will stream it to Periscope for Twitter, to Facebook, to Twitch, to YouTube, probably to BitChute. I mean, I know there's a bunch of them. It's pricey as shit because I've looked at it. But
therein lies the problem.
Yep.
Yeah, we need David Weiss to put a free one out, and all the advertising can go through that. Absolutely. He'll be a trillion gazillionaire in no time. Dave, you know it makes sense.
Well, look at how many times Skype updates. I think putting out one app that's going to restream one broadcast 15 times in 15 different places under 15 different apps
for free.
Right. I think the free is what might bite you in the ass a little bit. And you find out why it's so expensive now for Restream is because I think the maintenance on that type of software is going to be redonkulous.
That's where distributed software and hardware comes in. This is where everyone who agrees with this sort of platform agrees, like SETI, to dedicate a portion of their processor power and their hard drive space to this centralized vision of creating our own wedge tube that is free from censorship and is lightning fast, and no one person can take it down or censor it. There you go. I'll shut up now.
No, catchy as fuck, in it, John. It's already got you, hasn't it, that name? Anyway, shall we move on? Can I move on? Because before I get a bit too silly, because it's getting late. I'm on in the morning. Probably on a much more serious topic, actually. Well, definitely. Not actually. So tomorrow I'm going to be on Roxanne Globalist Denier's Wide Awake Club in the morning. And there's Roxanne, Dolly Daydream, and Richard from 007 YouTube channel. Double spelt and then OOH, and then I think the 7.
Correct. Shout out that channel as well.
Yeah. He's got a drone. He was showing me his drone this week. Of wicked. But yeah, so they kind of invited me on. That's their show, and they kind of invited me on because they'd watched Weed the People. I think it's a Netflix program. I've not watched it myself yet. But the crux of it is it's talking about the use of cannabis oil in the treatment of cancer, specifically in children, I think, in this, which...
And I've got to say, there's no better person to talk about this than you, Adam, because you have personal experience of this, and you're a licensed pharmacist.
Both are correct, sir. Yeah, unfortunately.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound like a...
No, the former... No, I was going to say the former being sadly. Yeah, and that's kind of... What came out of it, actually, before is... This is quite a big topic. And we covered a fraction of what we wanted to go through. So tomorrow's... I don't know how long it's going to be, an hour or so. Rox is getting hot on the editing suites and stuff, so I have no idea. But
so you've already had the conversation?
Yeah, she pre-records it and then it's put out Saturday morning.
Right. That apparently, and I learned this week, is the definition of a podcast. I didn't know that, but there you go.
Pre-recorded, yeah. But yeah, so we'll be chatting and basically me giving my pompous opinion on their understanding of stuff a little bit, really, but hopefully throwing a little bit of light on some of the things that are raised in the documentary, and adding a little bit of medical qualification to it, and who knows where it'll go over the next few weeks. But I really enjoyed chatting with them, and it was I tell you what, it was surprising more than anything that people that awake, that this is just slapping them right now, that this is a shit the bed. Is this real?
Awesome.
So
Adam, when is that, and where can people get it?
So that's Saturday morning UK time.
Now then.
Yeah, it's a god awful time. About 9:30, 10 o'clock is somewhere around there. I don't know. I only ever catch it on the replay. Yeah,
I think it's about 10, something like that. Yeah. And what's the channel?
So Roxanne Globalist Denier. Yeah, and that's Wide Awake Club Saturday morning. Really good stuff. I don't know whether it'll be every week, but, hopefully a bit like Cammy.
Can I play it to my kids?
I think I kept it pretty clean. I think Roxanne's editing will probably tidy me up. There was a mid chat break where it did descend a little bit, but I think that was edited out. So yeah, it should be all good, but probably worth a savage rating first, mate.
Are your kids subscribed to Iron Rail Media?
They're not interested, mate. Their dad's part of it, you know what I mean? So they get enough exposure rather than listening to me. What they are exposed to is the knowledge that Dad helped Grandad. You know what I mean? That's the important thing that they're aware of, and what it was, and that it wasn't legal in this country.
Mate. Explain that for those who haven't heard.
Okay, so oh God, a couple of years or more ago, my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and being aware of the conventional treatments, I wasn't too optimistic of the outcome. And being aware of unconventional treatments, cannabis oil being one of them, you know, really, and something cannabis oil particularly that I had researched before, because, you know, as a pharmacist, if you are current and up to date and live outside of the journals, you were aware of it. So it wasn't, maybe like I was saying to Rox, and that quite the revelation when the personal issue at hand raised itself. So
how long ago was this, Adam?
I'm trying to place it. It must be 2.5-3 years ago when it first.
I know it was around about the time. Well, it was after we met.
Oh yeah.
And I remember you announcing it, and it was. I mean, it just struck me to the core. It just took me. You know, your father's got cancer. It just took me. It's the last thing you want to hear, but.
Yeah, it's a kick in the nuts.
I don't want to steal any thunder from
no.
what you were discussing with Roxanne.
No, but that's the reality of it. You're a qualified pharmacist. What do you do? Do you go and buy illegal substance in this, to quote Ben Kenobi, God formation, you know, kind of off you go because you've seen it on the internet. And it wasn't just that. I'd done a lot of other reading as well. And as with a lot of things, personal testimony is important. So, yeah, we set off, didn't we, and did what we did. And
well,
Dad's, well, the middle bit's unimportant because that's personal. But you know, the end is at the end. Dad's now cancer-free, been told to piss off from the prostate clinic. No one understands why he doesn't have to urinate in the evening. Myself, you know, it's quite amazing what happened, and
it is.
You know, his dedication and removal from anything other than the program. I love him for, you know, because he was amazing.
Was your dad offered, you know, the usual path, the Macmillan path, and
yeah. Okay, so I think I'll raise this a little bit, you know, and this is the truth warrior kick you in the nuts moment, isn't it? When reality bites, and for all you've read and you know, because you've seen it and read it, you've got to make decisions. And they weren't my decisions to make, but Dad decided that he would have the the hormone treatment, which the testosterone blocking treatment, which is a cancer growth inhibitor.
Is that commonly known as something else?
Yeah, it's known as things like Prostap, Gozerelin, Zoladex is probably more familiar to the Americans, I think. But they're classified as anti-androgens. And their purpose is to like I say, to slow the rate of any cancerous growth. The net consequence is, as with all modern treatments, they're not very targeted.
Side effects.
Yeah, well, they completely demasculinate a man. They block testosterone. Right. So you know.
So he was hell bent on going for that. How did you change his mind? Presumably he wasn't doing
He
both.
wasn't. No, he wasn't hell bent on that. Like I say, it's a quandary. What do you do? Do you throw all your eggs in one basket, or do you think, fuck it, I'll do a bit of all? And that's exactly what it was. And you know, I didn't have the experience that I would say today, particularly, you know, with other people as well, that I would suggest, you know, a little more strongly to maybe just have a little bit of faith first of all. But the thing with all of these things, and it reminds me of when we interviewed, I hated that when, you know, when someone's name was in your head and then goes, Alan Park.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
Yeah, I know. I've got to take the savages. Savages. The Savages.
That's it. That's who it was.
Alan Park, yeah? Yeah.
Yep.
As he said, he left his waiting room and he was told, off you go to die, son. And he started his treatments, not their treatments, straight away. And we kind of did the same with Dad. So there was a good bit of heart when the kind of marker levels that even before he'd had this injection had suddenly reduced by quite a significant amount. And more importantly, before I went away, and before he did have one injection, chemo injection, one of many planned, I'll hasten to add, whilst I was away. But before he went away, he was talking about, there's two ways of describing it. There's the American Pie way, or, you know, when you go over like a flyover and your car takes off, you can get that little fizz in your prostate. That's the kind of the way he described it to me. He said, for 2 nights, I'd lay there in bed and I had this fizzing sensation, like something was growing, or just something was awakening, growing, whatever. And that's the thing for me, that it kind of fixed him in other ways as well, which needs so much more research. But for someone his age, that, like I've always said, to have better urinary continence than me, the cancer cure was one thing, but it really does go to show that the additional, it wasn't just cutting the cancer out, the systems healed themselves, and that was the amazing thing for me. And what really does require so much proper work in the future, proper real energy that's expended in Big Pharma, to expend that 0.1% would yield amazing results for people.
But let's not play this down, though, Adam. I know you're playing it down. You cured your dad of cancer. That's just incredible, and hats off to you for being able to do that and being able to convince your dad. I mean, I could cure, well, there are people I know that I could cure of their ailments, but they just don't listen to me. So hats off to you for doing that. But yeah, there is so much more research to be done in this topic, surely. It's not even recognized by huge cancer charities, legislation, governments. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I did, mate, and so can anyone, and that's the important thing. Just over a year ago, my best mate, his mum, my business partner, she was diagnosed with a different type of esophageal and some of the lymph nodes cancer, and they went through the same thing. And the first thing is to happen is, shit, Ad, get up here. And the same thing happened, and again a qualified pharmacist, and I'm happy to say that a year and a bit after being given 10 months to live, she's rocking hard now.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's awesome news.
Yeah, amazing. She's been dismissed from any future treatments. There's no, they'll see her next year. I've got the statements of the reduction in the tumour size over this year from the proper hospital report. See, with my dad's stuff, there was no detail. This was done privately with great detail and reports given to my mate's family, and the level of detail we've got is amazing. Now, there is additional nutritional stuff that we started to do there as well. But again, there was
such as
a hell of a lot of whole food and basic supplementary in both protein, because I won't go into the details of the products and stuff, but more maybe just the fundamentals. What's kind of happening is we're asking their cells to self-analyze and either kill themselves or rebuild themselves, and that's kind of being stimulated within the body. And what's important during this time is that if you're going to rebuild yourself, you've got decent stuff to rebuild yourself with, and therefore nutrition is crucial. Not so much during the major intense period, but particularly after it, because eating and digestion is symptomatic, but the quality and the provenance of what you're eating is crucial, as well as the relative composition, and that's work that's kind of going off now, and Vin's doing a lot more work in Manchester with it, and he's been exposed to a lot more people and helping a lot more people directly in his pharmacy, and I think that's it. We're not unique in this, and this is something that's snowballing now, and I think the documentary talks about I think the doctors, other clinicians that are all starting to look at it. And like I said, if we give just 0.1% of what's expended in big pharma, we will cure cancer within the week. That's the reality. The sad reality is that ain't going to happen because there's too much money involved.
Yeah, I think you're living testament. I mean, you took a punt on this as well, after, not a punt, but after a shitload of research. You didn't have any evidence outside of your dad before you did this, but just kudos, hats off, everything I could do. It's everything I would do if I could, for people who would receive that information, but so many people just can't receive that information, that you're the enemy, I don't know. I just think that's amazing what you did.
Indeed, I want to second that for sure. And I had to step away from the computer for a second, but I was keeping up with things in chat, and our buddy Racer X was talking about his dad right now is dealing with inoperable stage 4 cancer, lungs, brain, and spine.
That's an F and an E. That's not an X, by the way.
I said Racer FE, didn't I?
No, you're still on Racer X.
I might be, because that used to be one of my favorite bands. Sorry. Dad has inoperable brain cancer, lung, brain, and spine. He's dealing with it with B17, CBD oil, and nanocolloidal silver, which is killing the cancer, and using distilled water to flush it out. So lots of love and positivity headed to you guys for sure.
That's great to hear.
God bless and good luck, Frank.
I do some research on nano silver. I would look up how to create colloidal silver yourself. Nano silver, I have not heard great reports about, in terms that it's too small that the particles in it are too small that they can do damage. But colloidal silver, which looks yellow when made properly, is the bee's knees. But that's brilliant.
Hey,
Good luck.
John. Right.
Yeah.
So when I talk about my
Shout
mate
out
in
to
Manchester, is
Effie and Paul Gilbert. Had to, sorry.
go on, what? Go on.
Sorry, what'd you say?
No, I said shout out to Racer Effie and to Paul Gilbert. Huge fan as well. So shout out for sure. That's brilliant.
They're talking about Racer X.
Yeah, it's a Racer X thing. You wouldn't understand. Unless you're a neoclassical metalhead, you wouldn't get it.
I knew it was rock related. That's all I was going to say. There was just quickly that on a trends point of view, that when I was talking about the pharmacy in Manchester, and they do a lot more nutritional stuff because it's a very, very affluent area, and I suppose they're exposed to a lot more trends. And
You've noticed that as well, have you, Adam, that in some of the more upscale, affluent areas, they tend to have access to a lot more of the natural cures, quote unquote, if you will, out there?
they have not so much access. Retailers sell to, you only sell what you can sell. You don't put stuff on your shelves that you can't sell. And therefore those that are maybe exposed to this, the point I'm making is I went up there and, it's my shop, but I was really happy to see that they're selling colloidal silver now as part of their natural remedies, and it's got its place on the shelf. And that will flow down, but it's good to see it's already started in the the higher end pharmacies, and that actually there's already a market in, and people are aware of it, and they're buying it actually on the high street, not just on the internet.
Or is it yellow? Is it in a dark?
It's in an amber bottle, and it was quite expensive, so I didn't open it and have a look. But because I'm mean like that, John, because it was my stock.
I'm even more mean, mate. I make my own. I bought.
So do I. That's part of the beauty in it. We've sat here for years ago making this bloody stuff, and then
talk about that. Travis in chat, the Plain Truth, would like to know a little bit more about how it is you guys are producing your own colloidal silver.
Well, John is the daddy. I followed his teachings again.
I made a video.
I was looking for you to ask that very question, John. Didn't you make a video on that very topic?
I did. If I could remember my YouTube channel or what the video was called.
Well, it's saved on my front page. That's how I find you. I can never type you in and find you. Never, truly. Since day one, I've never been able to find your channel. If I had not saved it as a recommended channel on my homepage, I probably would never be able to look at your channel.
It's exclusive.
That's it. You got to be right. You got to be in the club.
Who was asking, Adam?
Josh. Was it Travis, Josh, did you say?
Yeah, Travis.
I mean, I'd go through some core basics. You can make your own. The way,
yeah, absolutely.
The kind of junkyard way is to get not vibrator batteries. The next size up. That you have in your big tracks. From the really big chunky batteries. Get 4 of them, stick them together, and gaffer tape them together, and use that as your power source. So you've got positive.
Don't use batteries.
Well, I'm saying junkyard way.
Yeah, junkyard way. You get yourself a power connector or whatever for a laptop or something along those lines. If you go for batteries, I've done this with 9-volt batteries where you daisy chain them. And I think it's 5 9-volt batteries, which in this day and age is not bloody cheap. And they literally will do 2 rounds if you're lucky. Best bet's to get something like a laptop power supply or a PlayStation power supply or something along those lines. It's about 12 volts, about 1 amp, and to use that. But yep, carry on, Adam.
Well, no, that's exactly. We did that, didn't we? And then I ended up buying off. I think it was off Wish, weren't it? One of those lab variable transformers, so that we could vary the ampage, the voltage, etc., and for me to piss around for a bit.
Yeah, you went all posh.
I did, didn't I? So that's the. But more fundamentally, outside of the power source, is to have a really pure source of silver. That's the kind of the key thing, and to ensure that whatever you're exposing into the water is only silver. So whatever we ended up with a couple of ingots of silver because that was the easiest way, plus silver electrodes.
And the water itself is actually water, so make
pure
sure it's
water,
distilled water.
Yeah, good. Because otherwise, any electrolytes, impurities in the water will become reaction solvers. It will affect the process. So the purer the water, the better. The thing I found, John, was the lower you did it, and the better that you let it run. I thought that was a nicer product, but if you've got the ability to do so over 3 or 4 hours at least, then that's the way I'd go. But you had a technique, didn't you? Basically, when it turns funny, it's done. When it goes pissy.
Mine was mainly done on time taken, so it's about 4 hours. You can use laser pointers to shine through the jar or whatever. Always do it in glass. Use distilled water, and the purest silver you can get, like jewelry silver, 99.9099%.
That's a point, John. The measuring. So when you want to look to see if it's done, there's you said a laser pointer. When you shine it through, the laser diffracts differently, but you kind of get an opacity in the water, don't you? Kind of a pearlescence to it that you'll notice, and that's a kind of a good indicator. The other one is the old
TDS meter.
Yeah, parts per million meter, like people have seen Riley use with his salty eggs. Don't talk about gravity.
It stands for total dissolved solids, parts per million, and you'll find if you get a distiller that you'll put it in there and it will pretty much say
7.
Naught. Well, naught, or it should say naught, but it can say up to 3. Who knows? But you can put that in your distilled water with your electrolysis and your silver and your power supply, etc., etc. And when it gets to about 18 or 20 or 15, you take it out. Considering the most potent stuff you'll get in the shop that is clear, so I think it's probably nano, then it is about 10 parts per million. You can quite easily produce 20 parts per million on your own with a minimal setup. I mean, you're talking $20 setup, and a bottle of this in the shop will cost you $20
easily, if not more.
Yeah, so
you never know what they're actually putting in those bottles.
Exactly. So this way, you know what you're putting in. You know how you're putting in. Experiment with it. You know, there's no hard and fast way of doing it. Your wires might be thinner than mine. They might be thicker than mine. There's no hard.
And there's a lot of great information going through chat right now with everybody else's history and different experiences with colloidal and some thanks everybody for that. Have you guys heard of this inhaler for silver? I had not. I'm shocked because I know a lot about the respiratory health out there, but I did not know they made such a thing.
I've not heard of that, Walt. But
yeah,
just one bit. What one tip I found is that the purpose of what you're trying to do here with the electrolysis is to liberate silver atoms, and as small as possible. You're never going to get one liberated, but you're going to hopefully liberate diatomic, whatever the colloidal numbers are that you'll see described, but you're trying to get as few a few atoms liberated as possible. And like I said, the best way I found is to have low voltage, low power, and do it for longer. A good tip that you're overpowering the system is you'll start to see black deposition at the bottom of the thing, and that means you're over egging it a little bit. And like I said, the lower the
bubbles as well, although bubbles will occur, you don't want the thing to be fizzing. I think sort of 12 volt 1 amp is around about the right place to be, but that also depends on the thickness of your rods. Yeah, mine were about they were about 1.5 mil thick.
Have you guys ever heard of mitosynergy bioavailable copper?
Yeah.
Have you never heard it before? It's just fun to say.
Say it, do it again, just do it again.
That's mitosynergy bioavailable copper.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
So, John, explain what the hell is mitosynergy bioavailable copper?
Well,
Come
on, let's look it up. Because it can't be that hard. It's only pharmacological bullshit.
It's basically making copper bioavailable to the body.
Well, I get bioavailable copper. Okay, let's focus more on the mitosynergy. What the fuck is mitosynergy, John?
It can go through cells. I'm pulling it out of my arse here. I don't know.
I'm thinking you're throwing around a brand name for what I'm seeing here on the link.
That would make sense.
But it sounds like, what is it? That stuff I used to make with vitamin C.
It's bound with niacin, a vitamin B compound, so that's to increase, I assume, absorption both systemically and central nervously as well. It's the product with...
Yes, it's their patented...
It's just like, come on.
Niacin, Cuner Moosper. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm saying that even close to correct.
The only other thing I just want, before we move off on topic, is once you've extracted these solutions, I did a little bit of formulation with them as well. And if you take these solutions, like I say, it's important to make sure your molecular size is kept to a minimum. And once you've achieved that, you can then concentrate them a little bit. So by kind of evaporating off some of the water. Once you've done that, you've then got something that you can then compound into other medicaments, so turn it into ointments, creams, eye drops, etc. And that makes it become very useful on a homely remedy basis as well. And it's very, very easy because you're only basically sticking water into whatever you're compounding it with. So it's a very, very easy substance to, I say, make some very basic homely remedies with as well.
Oh, I'd just say in direct sort of contradiction to what I was saying earlier is that the size of the molecule that you're splitting off is quite key, because I've heard the nano stuff is dangerous, and the stuff you could make at home, like the colloidal stuff, is not dangerous. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't. I am looking at the nano colloidal silver inhaler at the moment and trying to do some research on my own about that. So,
did you see that? Silverlungs.com?
I did, Mr. Not getting paid on all these promotions.
And what reminded me of what you were saying earlier was liposomal. When you make something like liposomal, when you encase it in fat so that it can get through the stomach acids, and then it's more bioavailable in the body, because it's come through the other side with the protective casing of fat. So I used to make liposomal I don't even know if I'm saying liposomal.
Liposomal.
Yeah, vitamin C. Because when you take a vitamin C tablet, so they say, most of the vitamin C is destroyed by the acid in your stomach. So what this does is coat it in fat, so that it can survive the stomach and get through to the rest of the body and be more bioavailable. But that was the question, wasn't it? Something about bioavailable copper, and it sounded to me like either doing the electrolysis with copper.
No, you're spot on, John. I said it was niacin, and niacin's like a big long carbon chain molecule, which is fatty, put simply in description. So by compounding a niacin salt with copper, what you end up doing is allowing it to freely flow, allow for rapid absorption because of the fatty molecule through the gastric mucosa, which then liberates it and gives that free copper once it then gets into a more aqueous solution, where the niacin copper compound liberates into a, like I say, a niacin and then copper in solution, a separate salt.
If you say so, mate.
You're right. The point is what you're saying is you're right. Spot on with your liposomal. Which are more hippie words. Yeah, liposomals are ways of like describing for. It's a bit the Jennifer Aniston. Here comes the science. So we got liposomals, which are going to carry these things in little new futuristic space pods through your gut.
Liposomal. I'm sure that's probably Latin. I'm sure lipo and somal equate to something.
Yeah, they do. But like I say, it's a concept again, isn't it, that you're being given.
What was it?
Yes, science!
Etymology.
I'm stopping, Josh.
Etymology of words, yeah. No, interesting stuff.
We've got to move topics, haven't we, then? Let's move.
What else do you got?
There's one. Oh, no, we have covered it. Yeah, fight the fat girth. He is a pussy, apparently.
Oh, yeah. I think we covered that.
I thought I crossed it out, but I haven't. Yeah, fight the fat girth is a pussy. Still ain't crossed it out.
Let's see. Tuesday night. This coming Tuesday night. Over there on Truth Frequency Radio. Hashtag Truth Tuesday. No less than Walt and I. But hopefully even more. I.e. John, Adam, probably not Rob. But we should all be over there hanging out with Paul. And Paul on the Plane over there on his TFR live show.
Shit, what time is this?
Hold on.
My time.
Yeah, you're not going to shit an egg, actually, John. I reckon it's me that's going to have a problem.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. for you guys.
Yeah, don't even feel necessarily obligated, Adam. That's a little redonkulous.
Paul actually sent that message to me for you guys that do not feel obligated. He would love to have you, but 3 a.m., that's nuts, or something like cray-cray, I think is what he said, actually. That's
Who
cray-cray.
in the hell wants to get up at 3 a.m. to do a show on TFR is all I'm saying.
No, no one's going to get up. No one's going to get up. It's just not going to bed. 3 a.m. is perfectly feasible. What day?
See, I knew John would be all right with that. He's still all right, isn't it?
On the show with us, and it's not even our show.
That's Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, John, for you. Early Wednesday morning, late Tuesday night. 3.
What was that? Well, what time's your show?
I said, we finally get John on another show with us, and it's not even our show.
Yeah.
What time's your show then?
4.
4 in the morning.
For them. It's 10 o'clock in the morning for you. It's a piece of piss.
No, 10 o'clock is not a piece of piss.
That's why.
The morning is a piece of piss. 10 o'clock is not a piece of piss. Okay.
I mean,
See,
shit, John, what time is it right now?
You know TFR is all cameras only, right? We go... No.
Yeah, they don't allow you on without your camera.
That was the only reason why I never went on Patricia's Day.
That's the reason. Not the fact that you weren't invited.
I was, but there was a camera policy. Anyway, we had something to say about Patricia Steer, the elephant in the room.
Don't know what you're on about. Yeah, actually.
Okay.
See, I tell you what pisses me off. All that quality content gone, right? Gone. Which is sad.
That's enough to piss a person off. I mean, it's one thing.
I was mildly annoyed, Josh. I won't go that far.
It's one thing to say, you know what, I'm done with this. Y'all are a bunch of crazy nut jobs. Fuck you all. And you walk away, brush your hands, and be done. But when you to take down years, hundreds of interviews, that's just unfortunate. I mean, I guess, I don't know. How do you have it and ignore it? I mean, I guess you can just log out all of your stuff from your Google accounts and delete all the cookies and just never log back in and just let it coast. But I mean, I don't know.
I've got a solution, Josh. You know, because of Laura and Ether, right? I asked them to download me a load of stuff, and I'm pretty damn sure that Laura made Ether do all of the Patricia Sear stuff. So at least up until a year ago, it should be stored somewhere, at least by us, anyway.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's not on the hard drive that he sent me. So if they've got it, it would have been added after the fact.
I'm sure it's on there. Because
I'll tell you what, we had.
This is what I'm talking about. This is how you make a mass exodus to someplace else. You take all these videos from people that have abandoned, people that have lost, people that lost their channels, people that don't give a shit, people that want you to take their shit and mirror it, people that say, hey, help us make this mass exodus from YouTube. And these are the videos you put out on other fucking platforms. The kind that YouTube says no, but that people want, put them out there. Advertise that shit on here. Make a YouTube channel just to advertise your shit on other platforms. Because apparently they'll delete your channels if you link in the description to sites outside of YouTube, which I thought was a little effing crazy. I forget where it is I heard that. But yeah, apparently if you put a link in the description to somebody that goes outside of YouTube, YouTube will delete your channel, or at least has the authority, they say. That is one of the terms of service that would violate, that would mean that they could take your channel down. But just imagine if Patricia Steer's content was over on BitChute. What if Stars or Souls had all of his where's the curve? Where's the curvature? All those videos on BitChute. Just imagine all the shit, all the Brian Mullen stuff, all the stuff that people are losing, it just goes somewhere else. Then all the stuff that people are currently watching joins them. Now what's YouTube left with? Just imagine. I think we would make a sizable dent if flat earthers stopped using YouTube. Look at the impact flat earthers have had on YouTube in 3 years. If this accumulated power and influence just stopped, oh, they'd feel that. What I hear this last quarter alone, Alphabet Inc., the parent corporation of Google and YouTube and everybody, they lost 25% of their stock cap, of their market cap. It's like 25% of their total evaluation is gone in 1 quarter. Right? So that's unsustainable in a year. In a year, they're gone. They're bankrupt. So I think that we have at least enough influence to, again, influence it. Maybe we won't kill YouTube, but we will start making 1,000 cuts, and we will bleed them slow. And I think if we can figure out how to make this mass exodus, to organize it so it's not a slow trickle where after a few years, then it's eventually done. But like in 2 weeks, everybody just uploads, makes new channels somewhere else, and nobody goes back to YouTube.
I'm with you, Josh. And David Weiss needs to create an app so that everyone can do it really, really easily.
And that's what's fucked up, John, is you're not with me. I'm with you. 2 weeks ago, we were arguing about this because I thought that was the stupidest fucking idea I'd ever heard of.
Well, I didn't want to say.
Well, it may have been a little bit longer than 2 weeks because a lot of this stuff has just sort of been coming down, but it's not been very long. But in that time, YouTube has changed my mind. I am completely on board with you.
It's time for diversity. It's time for redundancy. It's time to tell YouTube exactly what we think of their platform. I know it's the biggest platform. It's where you get your most listeners. But if you like this show, if you like listening to us on a Friday, wittering on about nothing, then follow us. Wherever we say we're going to be, then give it a click and follow us.
And I think that's, for me, it I know I'm being a bit pessimistic, but it's about lots of people doing that, and then the probability statistic of whichever platform is predominant, just like YouTube came out back in the day, that then whatever platform you're then with is trying to support the next platform to stick it in the eye of YouTube. Because look, we've kind of said there how pissed off we are with them, but why are we pissed off with them? We're pissed off with them because they're censoring the truth, yeah, with their deregulating us at the end of our videos, giving, it's a bit like at the bottom of a fag packet, you know, this, you get a YouTube now correcting you. Have you noticed, guys, right, it's doing my head in at work, right, I've not turned off autoplay, okay, so whatever I'm listening to finishes, all that comes on, right, is Vsauce all the time. So you think the Earth could be flat, shit, yeah, it's constant. So they're doing this now. There's a reason. It's not just to piss us off because we're whatever many minutiae of a percentage of the world we are, apparently by their figures, yeah, they're doing all this time and effort because there's something behind it, or they wouldn't be bothering to do it. It's quite clear. Let them keep falling apart. That's the beauty of it. And if there is a medium to migrate to that the masses have the power to then do, and via the populace actually exhibit a bit of voice of the people, that would be amazing. But I don't think it's necessarily required, because look at the extraordinary measures YouTube are going to stop the will of the people.
And as has been mentioned in chat, they are already cutting their own revenue sources by getting rid of these channels. They obviously don't give a shit. And, you know, it's not just the Vsauce ad nauseum as well. Someone asked, I saw this in my own feed on a night I fell asleep with autoplay on, and somebody shared a tweet. It might have been you, Josh. I can't remember who shared the tweet about someone saying that very thing. When they go to sleep, their autoplay feeds them endless UFO, alien shit. That's what they're getting fed through their YouTube on their. So obviously,
yeah, but it's changed, Walt, recently. Yeah, the links I used to have had would be Martin Neat Kid keep popping up, and I've loads of those, and there'd be the odd obscure link. But literally, it's Vsauce after Vsauce after Vsauce.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I've played, like I'll tell you what it is. Most days during lunchtime, I'll have Arwin on, yeah, and then Nathan's debates, however it is. And when they finish, literally every time they finish, it'll be something along. It's not like Red's rhetoric or anything like that. It's totally, here's the mainstream. And it'll do me head in because I'll have to keep going over to the and find something else to listen to. Whereas in the past, it would have just linked to something other that I might not have listened to or was half listening to before. But it is just noticeable. Like I said, but that doesn't. It does piss me off, but it makes me smile more because there's a reason they're doing it, and that's because we're winning.
On that note, Adam, and I agree with you, that we are winning. It's 1:30 here in the UK, and I'm going to do one. It was lovely to be back on the show, chatting with you guys.
Glad you're back, John.
Can't beat it. Can't beat it at all. Shame Rob couldn't stay on the call.
I think that hangover kicked in more than he was making out, you know.
Little hair of the dog. He just wanted to go get drunk and.
It was his mom. Be nice.
Is he on the big telephone, isn't he? Hello!
I believe she was actually coming over. That's what I saw him leave a note somewhere. It may have been in Twitter. I'm not sure where I saw it. Yeah, that's usually where he drops his show notes in Twitter. So I'm guessing that's where I saw it. But anyway, shout out Rob and Mom.
Either way, this was a quality show. I enjoyed that. What are we knocking up on? 2.
Absolutely. And everyone in chat
3.
with all the information shared back and forth. We love you all. Thank you all for all of that. And
what's going on with chat?
Just lie.
I'm chatophobic.
So many things, John. I couldn't start. We'd be 2 more hours.
Go
Pick a topic.
Chuck a few things out there.
Nailing it in all kinds of ways and adding their spin to it. And other topics we weren't even covering. They were all over that as well. And
they were on colloidal gold.
Yeah.
Ormus.
All kinds of good stuff.
Well, are we done anyway then? Because I've only got one bit to cover after
Probably.
this.
No, you're not done. Only I'm done. I'm just saying.
You do this every week, and then we end up leaving just because you've got it, and then you pop back for a bit, and then
it's already 3 hours.
Yeah, we're there. You see, it was good timing. So I reckon I've just got one bit to say, and that's a little bit of advice for Nathan Oakley. Yeah. Now, it's come out this week. It was mentioned on TFR, actually, that apparently Ballbusters is now his top-rated show. So the only bit of advice, I want him to improve, and all I can suggest is more iron, bruv. More iron.
Always helpful.
That's right.
But, yeah. I've been enjoying it, guys. I'm not sure what's going off tomorrow. There's been a bit of subterfuge. I'll find out tomorrow mid-afternoon, I assume. In what's called the Arwinian briefing, which is basically shut your fucking mouth while John Stunger talks. But
but that was the motto of Ballbusters.
Well, there is that. I really enjoy it because I tell you what, people have the criticism for John, but in terms of detail of knowledge of specific information, he's second to none in his field, and I really enjoy picking up little tidbits. It's probably more off air. I've got less chance of getting absolutely savaged if I question him then. But it's really, I've really enjoyed doing it. I don't know what's coming up this week, but look forward to it, and we'll see where it takes us.
Well, it should be good. They are terribly entertaining. It's, I don't know, it's like watching a car wreck. I think, I can't not watch it. It's not necessarily something I'd want to participate in, but I sure enjoy watching it. Yeah, I just wouldn't want to be on the receiving end between Nathan and John. What are you going to do? End up looking like the rumpus.
Oh, that's never good. I've took him on once, and that was on Ranty's show, just to try and force a scientific experiment out of one of Ranty's observations. But And I did win, but I was shitting it all the way through. I've got to be honest. But that's the point, isn't it? You know, it's not bullshit what they're holding you to. It's a standard, and if you meet the standard, they don't poo-poo you. It's just a weak nonsense that they come up against. That, and this is why I find it useful, because they're putting meat on the bone of what we all know is nonsense, but it does equip you at least to, in their language, take apart the nonsense that you're being fed. So, kind of why I enjoy it. It is a bit detailed at times, but yeah, I look forward to tonight in my book.
All right, Walter, you got anything?
Nah, it's late. Let's get this thing done. It's been 3 hours. That's plenty for everybody to digest and come back to enjoy later. Thank everybody that's in chat with us. Shout out to Joshua, Michael from this morning. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll get you over here to hang out one afternoon with us, my friend.
Yeah, shout out to Travis there in chat too. We mentioned we're going to be on Paul and the Plane show on TFR this Tuesday.
True.
Very soon, in the not too distant future. The plan is for us to be over there with Travis and hang out with Travis for a little bit sometime one of these mornings, because I think that's what works best for everybody these days. So yeah, we may be making the rounds here pretty soon, if there's any Flat Earth channels left. But I'm telling you, YouTube Exodus, hashtag YTE. You got to figure out something that's going to be YouTube friendly.
Parody. This is only a parody statement, and in no way are we implying that anyone should ever leave this amazing platform full of love. And
not until we stay. Not until we figure out a date. Once we get a solid date confirmed, then we'll.
No, I say fuck YouTube. Fuck you, fucking.
No, John. I would hate to have a YouTube channel not on YouTube. I'd love to have other channels not associated with YouTube, but there's nothing wrong with YouTube other than its fascist control mechanisms. I slipped, didn't I? I was trying to be good, and then
nothing wrong with YouTube. When I write an article thinking 4 YouTube videos in it, and I go back a couple of years later and 3 of them don't actually work anymore. Yeah, nothing wrong with YouTube. Fuck YouTube. The sooner we get off here, the better.
Damn right.
All right, I said goodbye, didn't I? Good night.
Good night, John. We love you. You have yourself a great rest of your weekend. There, I had to get that in there.
Well, my board. No. I was going to say my board's clear. One last. Are we done?
We could probably throw some music on before we get out, but other than that, I guess we're done. Yeah.
Just one last bit then.
To hear a little bit of iron.
A little tune, and number 2 on the board. Apparently, Fight the Fat Girth is a pussy. Not everyone. I've enjoyed myself. Let's have a tune here. It's no joke, mate. It's a pussy by action, not by ridicule.
And just a reminder, everybody needs to get out there and mirror that video. Let him know. See if he's got the balls to give you a copyright strike as well. We'll just send you the template over for the email to send YouTube. All right, then. Come on, where's my cursor go? Get down here.
Push the button, Josh.
I can't. It's being, you know what? Let's try this. Hello? Sorry, I'll get it eventually. Damn, that was nutty. There we go. See, I knew it was around here somewhere. Oh, this isn't the one we wanted either, was it? You wanted the one with our words, didn't you?
What we have it.
This is it, isn't it?
Nope, that was the original.
Yeah. Oh, that's the original. I got you.
All right, then we'll just see everybody here next week. TGIF, folks. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Be better than you were yesterday. You better quit being stupid.
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are the way. We are the way. We are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs,
We are the way.
if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.